Hello everyone, how's it going? Sorry a bit late. I was relaxing outside and I kind of lost track of time. So we're here 10 minutes late, but perfectly fine. How are you doing, Glib?
Yo, welcome to the show. Episode 7482 of the world's number one top podcast, official, unofficial, remix, redux, prequel, reboot cast, endorsed by Lucasfilm and Miracle Whip.
Well, obviously we're the spin-off of Morning Nonsense, which is the spin-off of Smudcast, you know.
Yes.
And
Hello.
the Smudcast is a reboot of EFAP.
Exactly.
Or wait, it's not the spin-off, it's the what would it actually be? The off-brand diet EFAP?
We are the dollar store GFAP. I don't know. I don't want to be
The
compared
fuck did you
to
get
I
that
don't want to be
from?
compared. All of the EFAP like spin-offs that I've seen that have like tried to directly rip off what they do just end up being pathetic in my opinion. No offense to
Mm.
those people. But I think what we're here to do today is interesting because I have a very negative opinion, and I don't want to have a negative opinion about fan productions, but I always feel like they are so heavily invested, the people that make them are so heavily invested in the idea of making something that's a fan production that they're not thinking about the actual production of it. So that's something. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about with that was costs of doing things and what the value of a representation is compared to the cost of an effect or a product. Like what it is that you want to pay for and what you want to present, and then also segue that into more of what you were talking about with Locher's stuff that had to do with CGI and how that's cost effective in comparison to the real world and the trade-off artistically and for the audience. That's kind of what I felt like my end of this show is going to be. What do you think that we are going to be checking out, just so that the audience will know?
So there's a few things on my list. I've tried to choose some of the technically very well done fan productions. I have a handful of ones which are live action. Some others are completely CGI, some like Loaches, or even some CGI Star Trek productions by Niners, which I think would be pretty interesting to look over. And there are many aspects of this conversation which we can also go into as well. Which there's lots to talk about here. So just
Excellent.
such like an ocean of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we've been to just so the audience knows, we've kind of both been busy in other areas. I've been dealing with a lot of like personal stuff going on, so I think this is going to be a more relaxed show. And then the next thing that we want to do after this is we want to do this trope. I am really pushing for this idea of getting a bunch of people to select their favorite tropes, like 5 or 7 or 10 or something like that, and then we'll have Literature Devil and Smud Boy or whoever on to, and hopefully done. Any writers that want to be on there that we know that are we've already talked to and that kind of thing, to come up with off the cuff ideas for stories and then put them in the vault or throw them out. But it'll be entertaining, I think, to do something like that. So
Hmm.
I'm just letting people know that we've been kind of on like or at least in my perspective, I haven't been very involved in internet stuff lately.
As well as my channel's been a bit silent. I haven't produced a video in uh, 3 weeks. No, last week was 3 weeks ago was a stream. A month. It's been a month since my last video. And any of you which do follow me on Twitter probably already know that my channel is going under a rebranding. And what I'm currently waiting on right now is the concept artists to essentially finish their designs of the new 3D stuff so I can build it in 3D and I can start using it and start producing videos with this layout. And there's one or two videos which I have written, which I'm going to start production on when I finally do get my 3D assets done. But until then, I don't know what I'm going to be doing with my channel. And so that's why I haven't produced any videos.
I have my Blade Runner videos coming out soon. I have an hour and a half of it completed, but it's not anywhere near finished because I was waffling over whether or not to cut out parts of it. But I just need to do some more supplementary recording, And then after that, I don't know if I'm going to be doing like internet videos. I always come up with ideas for videos, but then there's stuff that is always going on that makes it so it's hard for me to prioritize that. You know what I mean? I'm actually taking classes
Mm.
right now again, and I'm trying to finish off this certification test because I failed it last time because I was focused on so many other things. And then I have to work on the Richard Rage comic, which I want to launch. So it's like there's a lot to figure out. But
Richard Rage
that's
coming
just
to comic book near you.
well, we talked to yesterday. We talked to what's his name? Shit, I forgot the dude's name.
The guy that made the Pulp magazine.
Yeah, but I feel bad for forgetting his heroin magazine's name and like what. Anyway, the it's early in the morning for me. The point is that if pulp is going to be a genre thing that's going to come back, then it might as well be something that comes back swinging. And I rewatched Indiana Jones a couple times, and I was thinking like, it's really good film, but I also feel like it's not enough to satisfy the craving for good, well-made cinematic adventure films. And when I watch other ones like Romancing the Stone by Zemeckis and Gale, I don't think that that's as good with Michael Douglas. I really want to see some more adventure content that's a little bit more depthful, because I think that when you look back at the past and you start to contextualize something within its time period, you lose the ability for it to exist in a current state as something else that's not like a satire. You know what I mean? Like somebody could come out now and make a really excellent 1940s noir film in black and white. There's literally no reason why you couldn't do that. It's just people are afraid it's not going to make money back or something for the investment. But you could make that film and people would enjoy it. People probably go watch and see that movie. Like The Lighthouse looks like a period film, but it's made in the present tense, that kind of thing.
Mm.
I feel like there's a lot of that going around. So when you think about pulp action stories, you think about a guy that is going to fight the goofy natives and has like a bunch of friends that are mystical weirdos and stuff, and that you have objects and that kind of thing. And looking back at it in a colloquial sense, it's funny, but when you try and adapt that without like, have you seen the Flash Gordon film?
No.
Okay, they
I'm
made
very
the
sorry.
Flash Gordon film after Star Wars, right? So they know that they have to make a Flash Gordon style thing with all of the goofy aspects of Flash Gordon, but they're trying to do it in the style of the Star Wars movies, which is more contemporary. And by having like both of those things connect, it fails. Same with the John Carter of Mars thing. They're shooting it like it's this advanced CGI science fiction thing, but it has all these old world style concepts. And when you blend those things together, it becomes like a jarring thing. So when you have somebody who's saying, no, I'm actually going to use the same sensibilities as the time and push it forward, like what we saw yesterday with the Heroin Adventure magazine thing, that I think is going to be successful. And I also think that it's a cool idea if you were to take a look at what the concept was through the lens of somebody who is, or some style that is set based on just the idea of cinematic quality, or the idea of quality artwork in a comic book, or the you don't have to make a genre film like a horror film doesn't have to look like a cheap piece of crap like a Blumhouse film just because people know that as the modern day context. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to look back at old material like something like Metropolis from the 1930s and think, I want to do a film like that in that style, and it doesn't have to be cheap like that. You know what I'm saying? There's a way of
Yeah.
modernizing things, and there's also a way of making things modern from picking up where they left off at the time period. It's when you try to blend two different styles together that it becomes chaotic, like John Carter, where it's like did you see that movie? Did you
No.
see John Carter? I think we
Look,
should
there's
watch
a
it.
lot of movies I haven't seen, mostly
John-
because I'm
Yeah.
always working or watching something else.
So like John Carter of Mars is from the 1930s. It's like this Conan the Barbarian style science fiction, essentially, is what I'll say. It's this kind of like non-scientific science fiction because it's so outdated by its time period, but that means it's aesthetically interesting, like The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. Steam-powered stuff, that kind of thing. So what I think is interesting is that John Carter, they try to present this old world story, but they do it with the modern day quote unquote CGI of the time. And that, to me, I think is what made it partially jarring to look at. Because you have all these old world languages and you have princesses and you have all these old world things. And at the same time, you're thinking, okay, you know what? Let's make that look like the prequels. I think that creates an ugly aesthetic. Do you get what I'm saying there?
I think so.
Well, if you look up some pictures, I'll send you some that you can see, and you'll understand what I'm talking about.
To start off with looking at fan productions, there's something which I've quite liked for a long time, and it's these select scene recreations in CGI from Deep Space Nine, and they've made these trailers almost, and you'll get to see it's in 4K. It's beautiful. So let's have a look. The production value is absolutely stunning of the renders. Looks beautiful.
It doesn't look real though, right?
I agree. It doesn't look real, but
especially.
Okay. Sorry, I just caught this on the textures.
Can I just point out something really quick? Because I get into arguments all the time about, and I think it's not actually an argument. I think it's like people talking past each other. So like, CGI can look really good, right? And it's because you recognize the artistry of it. Right?
It can look beautiful or realistic. So because everything is in a CGI style, it doesn't really necessarily need to worry about being realistic too much.
Exactly.
It's because there's nothing to composite. Where it's really important to look realistic is when you're compositing it onto live action. That is where it is really important.
So do you think that, okay, you and I both know that somebody making this is like a CGI, this is what they have access to. This is what they can do, right? Like this. But do you think that if Paramount were to release something like this, it would be less impactful because if you were seeing official Deep Space Nine media, you'd want it to be physical, right? Because it would be more like the show.
Well, I think this was made by because the idea of standards is contextual, so it's based on the media itself. If this was an official production of like a CGI trailer, kind of more along the lines of those SWTOR cinematic trailers, or I would expect a higher production quality, similar. Like the intros, I suppose.
Like the intros to like Star Trek, Discovery and all, or what Westworld.
Yeah, I would expect it to be of a higher quality than this, but something in the same vein, I think, would be just as acceptable. Because this just fits the perfect definition of a cinematic trailer when you're looking in terms of like video games. Like it's a good it's the exact same parallel.
But do you think that like there is an audience expectation for something to be of the same substance visually and aesthetically and texturally as the past was? Or do you think that there is a modern evolving visual eye that's affected by when you enter into the world of viewing material? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it'll ever.
So you're asking me if standards change with the times?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm talking about standards. I think I'm talking about expectations relating to taste. If that's what audiences and tolerances is also what I'm saying. Because like you can have standards, and people could have standards and have very like relative standards. You know what I mean? They could be like, okay. This is acceptable. Like when I'm watching the CGI of something like the old Deep Space Nine episodes, I'm like, yeah, it's acceptable. When I think about the lack of, when I think about how they filmed those episodes on film and then archived them on video to lose all of the 480p thing, to lose the definition, I get upset, and that goes outside of my standards. But I still have to tolerate it because it's the only option. I can't force them to remaster whatever negatives that they have in storage to come out with a new version of Deep Space Nine, even though they should. So what I'm saying is like,
didn't they do that to some extent with the documentary, they redid all the footage to make it higher quality to try and reach more modern
But
standards, and they better
he's
color graded it.
the guy that made that, Ira Stephen Bear, specifically stated that he had to pay a lot of money to do that, and that nobody else
Hmm.
was willing to do that. He had to get that footage and have it done himself. He couldn't get the studio to redo the whole series, even though why wouldn't they do that? You know what I'm saying? Doesn't it make
Well,
perfect
I
sense
think
to
the
do that?
studio was very scared after they remastered TNG. They lost a hell of a lot of money on that because people didn't. Well, only the people that went out and bought the remastered series were like die-hard fans, but they were with the amount of money that they pumped into it, they were expecting a more general audience to buy it.
Well,
But the most general audiences who are interested in TNG already have the box set of TNG, so they're not going to be, they're
yeah,
not
but
super necessary for them to go out and buy the remastered version. And
I
because they
would
lost a lot of
I
money,
don't
they just
agree with
don't.
that.
They're very scared of trying to remaster something, investing all that money.
I think you're right, but I don't agree with their reasoning. I think
Hmm.
that reasoning to justify how you're going to lose out in the future is a bad thing, because archival storage for film and for media is sort of a transitory experience. You can't just go, all right, now we got them all in storage, it'll be fine. Everything degrades over time. Even if you have them in the salt mines or wherever, things can go wrong, that kind of thing. That's why you have to duplicate and archive things on different things. And so I think that, like, if you're looking at it from a brand perspective, you should always have your highest quality flagship material ready for people to rebuy again. That always seemed to be the draw for me, because if you have, let's say, the next generation and it's been remastered or whatever and it's in 4K, that means you can sell the Ultra HD Blu-rays or whatever without having to do any work. You know what I mean? If you were
Hmm.
really ahead of the curve, you'd go, let me try and get these negatives at the maximum resolution possible, keep them in the archives so that when people actually do come out with the next version, or there's people's internet becomes so fast and ubiquitous that I can stream at this quality, it'll be ready and it won't cost us extra. And we'll also have the digital backups that we can ship around to whatever we need for whatever reason. Because I think that people want to see things as they actually are. We're just buying reduced versions of things. And I just started to get the Blu-rays. It's funny. I just started to get the Blu-rays for the Star Trek films, and I put on Star Trek 4, I think, and I was watching it. I was like, wow, this is a terrible, terrible rip of this movie, and it's the official version. And then I looked it up, and apparently in September, Star Trek 1 through 4 are getting re-released in the 4K master. And I was wondering, are they going to use digital noise reduction again like they did last time, which made it so that everything looked like it was made out of plastic? Or are they going to actually present us the master with just touch-ups that have to do with color, accuracy, maybe the sharpness of whatever the picture? You know what I mean? Like, there are a lot of bad versions of films and television shows that are the archived versions that are sold to people on Blu-ray, and you can't get the version you want. And so it's like they're justifying a lack of investment so that they can not have to put in the work to sell the product, or maybe even sell it twice later down the line. And I think that that's just having a lack of foresight. Like, nobody wants the compromised version of a film that they're going to have to buy. They want to get the best quality of it that they can if they're buying films. And I think that as people buy new TVs that are 8K TVs and stuff, they're going to start thinking, well, what content am I going to put on here? The same old Blu-ray at 1080p blown up, you know? So why not pay for that on the front end, because your entire streaming service is going to be built on people watching your old TV and shit, and then the new shit. Don't you want it all to be in the highest resolution possible for your audience? I don't get it. Isn't that the whole business of streaming and selling media? Anyway, you know what I'm
Well,
saying? I'm
yeah,
into
I'm
film
following.
archivalism as a potential profit motive.
Though I've also been thinking of the other question. I don't know if it's exactly what you were saying because I'm still kind of confused what the question was. But when I was rewatching Stargate SG-1 recently, I was just going through it, and I was looking at it through a new perspective. As I've gained a lot more technical knowledge of like visual effects and CGI, and a lot of the visual effects, even if it was done on like a budget in, was it the late 90s with um, like how the budget being spread out all over a TV show, I didn't have a problem with a lot of it. I don't know if it's just because I had seen it before and I was used to it, but I think my theory anyway is that the low resolution and like a higher grain of older material made certain visual effects easier to buy for the audience because there was a lot less information there in the images to like it
Yeah,
blurs it all together a little bit if you get what I'm saying.
you're
It's,
completely correct. Yes,
and
absolutely.
when you're coming to the modern day, even though our technologies and techniques keep improving, so does the resolution. And when you've got a much higher 4K resolution, the details which kind of differentiate the I can't even say the word that make the differences between the two layers. They're much more visible than if they were blurred by being 480p, for example.
Yeah, it's that's very true. But at the same time, I also feel like I would rather be honest with the audience, or put in the work to restore and then upgrade the content. If you go and watch the Star Trek that's available, I think on Netflix and on the Blu-rays, I'm pretty sure that they have upgraded CGI visuals for the effects shots for like the ship and that kind of thing, and they look all right. And maybe in the future they might need to be remastered, but I don't see a reason why not to go in and make those changes so that the audience can watch it, and then also just give them another option. I think giving people options is part of a good business strategy. It gives you the ability to go, hey, do you want to watch this thing like this? Or do you want to watch this thing like this? Like, what's the point of selling a director's cut if people don't want to see a different version of something? You know what I mean? And it just goes back to like what I was saying, that when you make the film and when you put out the film and how you put out the film, it's going to change the way people look at it. Like the modern day 4K Blu-ray rip of The Matrix looks different from the Blu-ray, which looks different from the DVD, which looks different from the VHS, which looks different from what it looked like in theaters because of how they're grading it. So like there's a substantial difference. There's a torrent list online of people. I think it's like KK650 or something like that. I don't know what the dude's name is, but he actually goes in, some person or he or she, they go in, they watch the film, and then they color correct the white balancing and stuff so that it looks more neutral or more like the original. And I actually prefer the version of Back to the Future that they did over the direct 4K rip that I bought from the studio. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny how that works. The same goes for the online version of Star Wars, the 4K 77 project, is better looking than the remastered special edition ILM 1997 off the shelf Star Wars Disney version. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather watch that because of its authenticity and its, I guess, realism, but more it's like its grit is more honest to me than the giant dewback lizard version. Or like people talking about Lord of the Rings and how they made things blue for some reason. They just added this blue filter over the whole movie. Why do people want that altered version instead of the version that they got
Blue.
in theaters? And then you go, well, if it's about director's choice or it's about the audience's discretion, like just give both options then, right? It doesn't really cost you much to fucking change a couple color parameters. It's
What if
ridiculous.
in the future we give people the ability to choose their own color corrections
Well,
in a
actually, I
film? Would you like it in blue or orange? Or would you
I
like
t-
none of it? Would you like it in black and white? Ooh,
I talked to a
I think
guy
that'd actually
that
be technically like doable.
there's Bandersnatch, which allows you to choose certain things. But then I talked to a guy who said that who was working on virtual mapping and like multiple screen projection setups, like virtual sets and stages, previs technology, all this different shit that has to do with the CGI stuff. And I was just like, what about a movie where you could like choose your own angles? And he was like, oh, I did something like that. It's like, oh, that's interesting. People have already made audience interactive
Wait, what?
content before.
Choose
Yeah.
your own camera
Like,
angles.
yeah, like they shoot the film a certain way and then you get to choose how you want to look at it. It's kind of interesting.
Okay, I'm not sure how much that's going to catch on, but I'm
No, I
just
don't know. I don't know it
wondering how that
either.
works.
But I remember there was always an alternative angle button on the old Apple DVD thing, and I was like, this never works with any movie that I've ever put in. So what is this? What's this fucking button for? And it just gave me this idea. I was like, why not shoot a bunch of different things and then let the audience like choose where they want to be sitting? And that's what the have you played Cyberpunk?
No, I haven't.
That's the brain dance videos. You get to see it from different angles and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know what virtual technology is going to be able to provide for people, or how cinema and video
Speaking
games are
of
gonna
just
blend together.
buttons on remotes, which are like a really just for gimmick features. I remember on, I don't know if it had it in America, but on British TV remotes, they installed what they called the red button, and the red button was like it would go to a channel, to like watch special content essentially. So you'd be watching a TV show or like the news or something, and it'll say press the red button now for this extra content where you get to see the behind the scenes stuff. No one fucking used it, and they stopped doing it because everyone was just not bothering.
I really like the when you pause Amazon Prime videos though, they'll give you like a bunch of trivia and bullshit when you pause.
Yes, I love
like
that.
X-ray. Yeah, so it's funny how like some things work and some things don't, and
Well,
I think because of all the
because
COVID stuff, then everybody's staying indoors. I've played all my video games, I've watched all my movies and all that bullshit. I've done the whole thing, and now I'm on to watching director's commentaries. So it's like, yeah, obviously there's different layers to watching something or experiencing pieces of media. There's no reason to think about it in just one way, except from the vision perspective. Like there's the audience and the people making the film or whatever the content. There's that direct line, like this is what I made, this is what you watch. But other than that, after that experience, it's like, well, when I go back to watch it, maybe I want to hear the fucking visual effects team talking about the movie and all the effects. Why not? You know what I mean?
We'll go back to the CGI
the entertainment
production.
business and the comic book business are bitching because they refuse to give people more options. That's the fucking problem. They don't know how to monetize their content. They want to continually spend money for low return investments, and then they don't give people the option that they actually want. I don't understand how there's not a despecialized version of Star Wars on shelves.
Oh, that was, well, previously, before Disney bought Fox, that was because Fox owned the distribution rights to the original release of Star Wars. So that was the reason why George Lucas created the special editions, because he wanted a version of the films that he could release himself. And while I was at it, he just added a bunch of tweaks, which he has, a lot of revisions, which are always very popular. Anyway. That was the main reason behind the special editions. The idea that George could basically release his own version of the films rather than having to deal with Fox.
I don't know, but they should come up with something, because it's all money, and like not doing something doesn't make anybody money.
Right. So we'll continue with this. But one thing I did notice is that here on the chair you've got this. Glib, he's disconnected. Oh, he's back.
Sorry about that.
Right. So on the chair, you can see this really low resolution, 2 upscaled like leather texture that's just been kind of thrown on there. Probably because it was a very small thing and he didn't have a lot of time. I didn't even notice it on my original watches. But scale is something which is always, it catches out a lot of people, especially in terms of texturing. And I even noticed this on like the Snyder Cut. You see this like repeating mud texture that goes on to like mountains, and it's really blurry and low resolution, like they haven't got the scale right, and the scale looks like these cracks are supposed to be much smaller. But the problem is that when you make these textures smaller, the repeating pattern becomes a lot more noticeable, which is why you in texturing you use multiple masks usually to try and offset the repeating grunge texture or the wood texture or whatever. It adds that slight variety which removes the noticeability of the repeating. Nothing to add, Glib?
No, I don't have anything to add. I don't think that's incorrect. That's correct.
Right. I'm gonna point out this is only like 2 minutes long, and there's like 3 of them, or 4, maybe 5.
Star Wars Deep Star Nine.
You live without a soul. You and your Federation exist in a universe of darkness, and you would drag us in there with you. But we will not go.
There is concern in some quarters that the military is unwilling to confront the forces of the Sith.
You can't possibly appreciate that this is Bajoran against Bajoran. We are all patriots, Commander.
Can I ask you a question seriously, without like trying to piss anybody off? What do you think that is necessary for people to make Star Trek like this big epic thing for Deep Space Nine? Because I never felt like this show was like that. I always felt it was more personal.
Well, yeah, I think it was a lot of the episodes was a lot more personal to the characters themselves. Even episodes like In the Pale Moonlight was a very Cisco-focused episode in his morality and having to do like terrible things for the right reasons. Something you have to live with.
I feel like every time that I see one of these trailers, it's like dun 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 dun. You know what I mean? Like epic. It's the most important story of a generation. I'm like, it's not. I know it is, but it's not the way
just
that it
trailers,
felt.
though.
It always felt like you sell Star Trek not off of the visuals, you sell it off of the actors. I always felt like it's the faces. It's it's like the consequences of everything.
But how do you sell?
Never
a trailer,
dependent
though?
on effects,
and especially
in
since
Star Trek. It's
characters.
always faces.
No, but how do you pull that off?
You can't do that in CGI.
In a trailer.
That's
and
the problem.
You can technically do that in CGI. Then the problem is it's very difficult to do characters a lot of the time, especially when you're worrying about facial animations, or even just making the models can sometimes be difficult. A lot of fan productions I've seen which use faces are produced by things like MetaHuman in Unreal Engine. It's kind of like a character creator, or iClone, which is another version of it, which is also like a character creator.
What I'm saying is that like the reactions that do you remember Star Trek 3? I think it's 3. Yeah, where they crash the Enterprise on the planet, and then there's this kind of like sunset shot, and he's like, "My God, Bones, what have I done?" Well, you gave us a fighting chance, right? So it's played off of their fate. You get one of the most expensive shots in that movie is a crashing Enterprise. It's like, okay, we're gonna do this. This is one of the big epic shots of the movie that's gonna be special effects intensive. But what people remember is not necessarily the crash as much as it is the looks on everybody's faces.
The emotions of the scene. That's what makes it memorable.
I think that the emotions are the epic nature of the Star Trek aspect. It's like when somebody says something of consequence, it's like, Jim, if we don't do this, then the whole galaxy's gonna explode. And then you slowly dolly in. You do a quick dolly in on Shatner's face, going, "Oh Jesus," you know what I mean? That's how you cut to the commercial.
Bones, gotta go blow up the star.
I don't know. It's funny how I'm in a Kirk mode right now. I was in Picard.
That's how the original series would have been today. It'll be.
Say again. Hello? Did Shiney disappear or did I disappear? I can't
Sorry,
tell.
no, I lost connection for some reason. Did you hear what I was saying?
No, I didn't. No.
All right, that's what Star Trek would be today. It would be an animated show that was a rip off of Rick and Morty, like what they did with Lower Decks.
Yeah, we did Lower Decks, but no, I mean today we see what they would do today. The thing is that I think the real fact is that they could never get anywhere even close to anything as good as TOS, TNG, or Deep Space Nine. They don't have the skill to do it. I don't think, I physically think they can't. You know, what they should do is just make more, whimsical science fiction stories and have pick up where TNG left off. Who cares? Don't even make it that much far in the future. Just make it like 6 months after the last episode of TNG. These are the adventures of the USS something else.
Or just make something new.
Or just make something new.
I think
give me money.
Even Discovery would be a much better show if you remove it of the context of what it's destroying. You would
Star
still
Trek
have a
Recovery,
plank of wood protagonist who's just the bestest character ever. She's the inspiration for Spock, and she's awesome, and she's forced herself into every event in the fucking galaxy. But you would be destroying a lot less. And the addition of Discovery doesn't even add anything to the original. It only takes away. And I think that's the important part when you're looking at what you're going to add to a franchise. Does it benefit the original? Because obviously when you add books or something and you add some deeper lore, that is usually adding rather than taking away. Same with, but if you're making a prequel to like the original trilogy and you go into the sequels, well, the story's kind of ended. You've created a whole different storyline which has nothing to do with the original. What does it really add to the original? It only takes away because of how much it breaks.
Do you think Star Trek can't go on beyond TNG?
I think
just hit the end of the road.
I think it is. I don't know what else to do, and I don't know what else you can do which would really add to Star Trek anymore that would improve the experiences of the original franchise, or what we would consider the classic franchise.
Well, I mean, you just do another one.
Yeah, but you just do another one. What do you do with it though? That's my question. Like, what hasn't already been done by the shows which we've got? There's a reason why they went back rather than forwards. It's because I think they looked at what they had done and they say, where do we go now? So they went to Enterprise. Said we haven't done a prequel yet.
But they didn't go further. They went backwards. They just.
I know. I think the reason why they went backwards is because they didn't know what to do next.
Well, that's why I'm saying they should have just had a new crew. Every time that they should have a new crew come in, and when the old one's burnt out, it's like nobody wanted to go back and make any more TNG because the actors were done, the writers might want to do something else. Deep Space Nine, same thing. It's like, okay, well then why not just bring in some new people that want to do a Trek thing? What's missing from that? Does Roddenberry have to be there for that to actually work? I think that's the issue. Is that if you want something to last for a long time, you have to adhere to a certain rule set. I don't know if you could make more Star Trek without making it fresh in some way, but I don't think that there's nothing you can do with it. I think you can just go off and make anything you want in it. I think that was the whole reason why these things had fandoms, was because it seemed like there was limitless potential. Things that don't have fandoms, it's because the fans or the would-be fans don't think there's anything else that can be done with it. If you can look back at something and say it's over, but then it's like at that point, I don't think that the thing is still alive in that context. It's like Back to the Future should never have a sequel. You know what I mean? And I'm a huge Back to the Future fan, but I'm not excited for more Back to the Future content ever. You get what I'm saying? Whereas when I look at Star Trek, I could go, I could go out there and make a Star Trek TV show. Put me in charge, coach. I'll give you 12 episodes. But I don't want to do another 1,000. You know what I mean? So I think that's a real issue. And I also think people get too old to do it. I don't think that I don't know if Star Trek is contingent on any of the people involved with it other than Roddenberry to have the core consistency. I don't think that you need Nimoy. I don't think you need Shatner to do Star Trek. I don't think that you need the people that made the movies or the TV shows. I think that you just need the core content stuff. But I don't believe that any of the new stuff is going to be good. That's the thing. I just think it could be, and that's the reason why that's how I look at living fandoms. is that there are people that are like, yeah, totally, it could be, like, we could go in this direction. And when we look at the Star Wars stuff that we were talking about, it's like they're cutting off futures, you know? Return of the Jedi is when you get to the end of Return of the Jedi, if you're following the canon, it's no longer like, yeah, what happens next? I bet that they go over here and these guys to go and do this. Now it's like, oh yeah, everything falls apart and they get divorced, and then there's the...
Well, it just makes everything seem a little bit pointless with the sequel trilogy because it invalidated everything. Everything which has been built up by the originals just gets destroyed. Like the rebellion, which it turns into the New Republic, it's gone. Wait, what? What legacy did it leave behind? None. So what was the point of the originals? Nothing. Oh, at least we stopped Palpatine in the original trilogy? No, we didn't. Wait, what? You didn't stop Palpatine? No, he's still alive.
And this is what makes me wonder, like, if...
Well, at least we stopped the Empire. No, they're still around.
Do you think that decanonization could be a thing in the future? I could totally see how people could do that. All you have to do is come in and do that. Just start cutting away. But I don't think you can replace people. I think in my mind, I looked at Star Wars and I went, all of the people involved are intimately important for this story to work. And for the things that I connected with are very clearly like, I really care about Luke Skywalker. Who is Mark Hamill? You know what I mean? It's not like I look at James Bond and I go, who's the next James Bond? Nobody goes, who's the next Luke Skywalker? And I don't know if you can force that, but I don't like it. You know, I don't like the idea that there's a replaceable thing. Who's the next Indiana Jones? It's like, no, Indiana Jones is Harrison Ford. Who's the next guy that's going to be like Indiana Jones? That's the real question.
With older media, it's kind of established itself more as like iterations. Like there's iterations of James Bond. They're not all in the same universe in continuity. It's a bit like Doctor Who, where you can just, oh look, we've got a new actor now. It's something which is kind of like passed along, and I think that
it's
is something
a role as opposed to a person.
Yeah, and I'm not entirely sure that's something which you can do in the modern day. Like you don't want someone to. I'm trying to think of another media. Well, I suppose just a good example probably is just Star Wars, where because there is only one iteration of the series, it's not something which you can do. There isn't like five, like this 5 James Bonds or something. He's not like 5 Luke Skywalkers already, so it wouldn't be like, oh, who's the next Luke Skywalker? Because there's only one Luke Skywalker. It's Mark Hamill. There's only one.
Imagine if there was another Sisko. Imagine if it was like, oh, who's playing the next Ben Sisko? I'd be like, nobody. That's Avery
so
Brooks.
you can do that with a lot of older franchises which have established themselves as with these other things, or it's something you pass along to different actors. It's a role, but you can't do it to everything. It's not the same. Like it's Batman, yes. Superman, sure. James Bond, yes. Sisko, no. Luke Skywalker, no. Han Solo, no.
Real quick, I'm going to get some more coffee, and you should keep playing the video.
Right.
We've got to put a stop to this before it gets out of hand. Our provisional government is bringing troops into the capital.
Oh, we're all very good at conjuring up enough fear to justify whatever we want to do.
I think this is where it starts to pick up, so I'll wait for Glib.
No, I'm here. I'm
here.
All
right, okay.
I'm just like scrambling around with the coffee. By the way, if you get the opportunity, maybe I'll ship it to you. But you got to try David Lynch's coffee. It's really, really good.
The fuck is that? Well, never mind.
You know David Lynch?
No.
David Lynch is the director who made Eraserhead. He also did Twin Peaks, Blue Velvet, Straight Story, Mulholland Drive. He's a painter, and there's a great documentary about him because I love watching content about other directors and writers and stuff because I feel like it's inspiring and it keeps me motivated. And he looked at the world like the art life is smoking cigarettes, drinking coffee, and painting. And so he has an Allegra brand coffee bag that's his signature blend that they made for him, and it's very low in acidity, and you can tell that he selected it because if you drink coffee all day, if you're like an addict like me, then you know the acidity is the thing that hurts your stomach. So he has this really nice low acid blend. But I just love that. That to me, like more than getting an award like an Oscar or something, or like a sponsorship from Nike, I want a coffee sponsorship or something. You know what I mean? Wouldn't it be cool to have your name or name associated with something that you use every day? Like I want a Glib can opener or something. Just something really useful that all the time you just there's just an orange can opener or something with my name on it.
Okay.
But yeah, try that coffee. That's what I'm drinking today.
Exploration. Not exactly. You're going to attack the Dominion, aren't you? A clear and precise analysis.
All ships report ready. All weapons charged.
Open fire!
Gemini fighters.
How many?
150.
It's a trap. They've been waiting for us all along.
I'm afraid the fault, dear Dane, is not in our stars, but in ourselves.
These founders, Elam, they're very good. Next time, we should be more careful. Attack Planet Omega 4. Fall into close power.
4 more Gemini ships closing to starboard.
Fire!
Oh, this is the really good one. This is what got me into it. So I just wanted to show all of them before we showed this one, though. Glib, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, get ready. Hold on to your seat.
I'm smoking and drinking.
Hold on to your butts.
The Dominion has endured for 2,000 years and will continue to endure long after the Federation
Now,
is
does this get you
crumbled
excited?
into dust.
Hmm?
Does this excite you as a trailer, or does it excite you like as a CGI guy?
I split it in both because there are some absolutely like beautiful shots in CGI work. I mean, just look at the Defiant. I know how hard it is to build a spaceship. Look at this thing. Look
Right, but this
how
sounds
detailed
like-
it is. It's awesome, but it's
This
also
sounds
kind of
like
like a
you sound
nostalgic
like me.
element as well, which is because I know like the scenes that the voice lines are from, and I'm very nostalgic about the Defiant and everything, which is like Deep Space Nine in general. I just love it.
You sound
And,
like
like,
me
it's
when I'm
got-
talking
it's
about
very-
miniatures. I like it.
It's very creative as well to have all these transitions, and you'll see what I mean. I always love creative transitions, and I think I've shown you my like CGI trailer for a fake thing which was never going to be made, but it had to do for like a final major project for I
Right.
think it was my year 1 FMP.
'Cause what
And
I'm-
like
what I'm
I had
thinking
all these
is-
transitions, so it would transition into like the reflection of the helmet, or it would transition as the camera went past a certain object going up above a railing, and all these small things I very much appreciate when it comes into like the craft of a CGI or whatever you're doing with the cinematography.
Because to me, what I'm seeing is that it's like, it looks like a tech demo with a purpose. You know what I mean? It's like this is a person showing off what they've constructed, and they turn it into a trailer. I understand how that is, but I think the element of it as a teaser, unofficial or official, the problem is that like a teaser for somebody who's what would this be selling? What is this selling me right now?
Yeah, I get what you're
You know what I'm
on about there, because this is heavily reliant on someone which has already seen Deep Space Nine, so it's not teasing anything you haven't seen.
And then it's also not showing me things that I already have seen. It's showing me HD CGI things. So that's not criticism to say I don't think it's good. or I
It just
don't
doesn't
like
work as a trailer, and I suppose it doesn't have to work as a trailer,
No, it doesn't have to do
technically
anything.
speaking, because it's already focusing on a target of people who have already seen the show. This is actually part of a small movement which is trying to get Deep Space Nine onto like in 4K. Like they wanted it to be re-released into 4K, which is why it was got the thing of called, bring it to Blu-ray.
Make it happen. Make it so.
The Dominion has endured for 2,000 years and will continue to endure long after the Federation has crumbled into dust.
There's something you need to know. The Changeling, before he...
It's the Dominion,
died,
but it's just Wayun. It's just a
whispered
million
something to
billion
me.
Wayuns.
He said, "You're too late. We are everywhere."
I can tell that they've used a fractal noise texture on there, and they've animated it probably with an evolution and as well as just a transform to make it physically move.
Oh yeah.
My mission will determine the fate of the Klingon Empire. Interfere, and you risk destroying us all.
Let me ask you a question. How many changelings do you think are here on Earth right at this moment? What if I were to tell you that there are only 4, and look at the havoc it's wrought?
Worried. I'm scared to death. I'll be damned if I'm going to let them change the way I live my life.
I'm reading a heart, lungs, and a digestive system. It's as if you were human.
Isn't Sisko's father the dude from Star Trek 6?
Yeah.
I love that dude. That dude has a lot of fucking charisma.
Yeah.
Keep you away from
He's got a lot of charisma.
And it's going to be a glorious battle.
What you're asking me to do is declare martial law.
See, the battle scenes look like the best part. Like the detail screens and stuff, and the stuff that I would assume to be CGI look the most. The things that I wouldn't expect to be CGI don't look good. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well, they're doing like close-ups of like monitors and corridors and stuff, which would have actually been live action. Like, especially since a lot of these CGI models probably weren't quite designed to go like too close to them.
Part of the fantasy.
A lot of them don't have textures as well, which is something I've noticed.
I don't understand why people are like, just CGI real spaces. I'm like, no, then I'm just like, the fantasy is not being in a video game, not being in an Unreal Engine experiment. The fantasy is being in a real place. That's why people like live action movies. Otherwise, they'd fucking watch manga. They'd read anime. They'd listen to hentai.
Let us defend this planet.
So you're willing to destroy paradise in order to save it?
I am the only Cardassian left. If no one else will stand against the Klingons, I will.
Remember
This is exactly what the
Dukat?
Founders...
Remember Klingons?
Klingon against Cardassian. Federation
Remember
against
Obama?
Klingon. The more we fight each other, the weaker we'll get, and the less chance we have against the Dominion.
Gowron, the head of the Klingon Empire.
Somebody needs to do an edit of Sisko arguing with Sisko. I'd love that.
The peace treaty between the Federation and the Klingon Empire present.
Looks like the Klingons are here to
As well as
stay.
the station as well, it looks beautiful.
Hey, Glib, let Kermit the Frog enjoy CGI.
Yeah, Jesse.
But so are we.
It's Juicy Smollett here.
Here, sons of Kalas. Here, daughters, too. The blood of battle washes clean.
So just going a second, that was a really detailed close-up there.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Fingers.
Washes clean. Warrior brave and true. We fight.
I mean, you can even see the skills
We
improving
love.
with each one.
And then we kill. Our lives burn short and bright. If we die with honor,
They should do an episode of Star Trek where it's like a fake hate crime that starts a war in the neutral zone. And it's just all Jussie Smollett.
One thing I've
the frog
noticed is
there
there's a
and
lot
he's trying
of
to get Jussie to fucking tell the truth.
there's a lot of noise.
You
in
gotta
the
tell the
renders,
truth, Jussie.
and I'm not sure if that's like added in post or they haven't added enough. Like it's about it in post to try and give it that more Star Trek feel of the Deep Space Nine, because obviously there was a lot of noise on the footage. But it also could just be that they didn't put enough passes on the render.
Spot on, man. This the big world shots are a lot better, and the large space shots look really good, because when you used to see the old real world builds for those, they always looked small. It was just like a matte painting, you know what I mean? So if you did like an enhanced multi-layered matte painting with CGI extensions, it'd probably look really good. But this looks even better. Like you could just plug this in to the establishing shot, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it would look good in the TV show. Some of these shots look like they should be insert shots for a remastered version, and some of them are like, oh, I see, it's just a concept piece. I don't like that, you know?
Together, we battle forever through the eternal fight.
Cardassia has agreed to become part of the Dominion. All that we have lost will be ours again, and anyone who stands in our way will be destroyed. There will not be a single Klingon alive inside Cardassian territory.
This is a dark day, not only for the Klingon Empire, but for the Alpha Quadrant itself.
That's the 5th convoy heading for Cardassia in the last 5 weeks.
I will not allow any more Dominion reinforcements through the wormhole.
You will not allow.
You heard me.
Often wants to peacefully coexist with its neighbors. It saddens me to see how deeply he misunderstands it. 5 years ago,
This guy's just like, look at all my effects shots, bro.
Look at all it's really cool.
CGI. Like that doesn't look good.
Yeah, I think this is going into the like the end though, like the logo, maybe, possibly.
Star Trek Obama, starring Jussie
No, I was
Smollett
wrong.
and Kermit the Frog.
Where the tides of fortune take us, no man may know.
I think it's also using the same music as the Mass Effect 3 trailer.
Yeah, Mass Effect is the new sci-fi shit. Like
Well,
I
I'm
know
not
it's
even
not
sure
new.
what
I
the
know it's
Mass
like a
Effect
decade.
3 trailer music is from, like where it was originally used.
It's probably just trailer music. There's a bunch of guys that just make good trailer music.
I know the
Yeah,
composers
remember the,
for like the official productions can like they're not always, they've got to put all their work into actually making the music for the video games or for the TV shows or the movies, so they often outsource like trailer music to other productions or like other artists.
Legate Obama makes Cardassian great again. No, yeah, it's Kermit the Frog is like a MAGA guy for the Cardassians, and then Cisco is actually just Jussie Smollett playing Obama.
So I suppose we could try a Locha Films like production now in Unreal
Yeah, I
Engine,
mean-
and then possibly move on to like a proper live action one.
I mean, I'm trying to figure out more about you through that too. It's like when you watched that and you were like, all right, what is it that you thought when you were watching that the first time? Like,
I
you
mean,
were like, this
when
is
I
really
first
good,
watched it,
or
I
what was your
wasn't
impression?
into CGI. Like what do you mean exactly?
What okay, so like the first time I saw the Tron Legacy teaser, the concept thing, have you seen that? Where there's the
No.
blue and green guy? None of that was the real movie, but I got super hyped for it. Now like the fan thing, I would think nowadays when I watch fan presentations that I go, oh, that's really cool, I get sad because I'm like, oh, that's never gonna happen. You know what I mean? So when you saw that, were you like, fuck yeah, dude, we need more Deep Space Nine? Or what did you think?
I suppose my thoughts when I first watched, because I saw the 4th season one, which is I think is the best one 9 has made. And I was just kind of blown away by the quality of the fan production. I thought it looked amazing, and this was I think it was a few years back. Was it when was it released? 3 years ago. So it was 3 years ago. So it was kind of just when I was getting into CGI. So I didn't look at it on a technical element, but now I look at it, I just see a lot of nostalgia, and I think, yeah, I really enjoyed Deep Space Nine. That was fun, and I now look at it and I think, oh, that model of the Defiant is beautiful, or the model they've done of like Deep Space Nine looks amazing.
I always get
like, I look at the transitions on a technical level as well, like where they transition into the planet and then turns into a hologram, and then the planet then turns into like the saucer section of the ship, which then the camera moves to get into that shot from the series where the Defiant and the Excelsior are fighting.
Anytime I see fan content that looks like it justifies the existence of more of the real content, it just makes me think like, wow, let's get more of that real content, you know? So I don't understand why we don't have the upscaled, remastered Deep Space Nine already. I don't understand why people wouldn't be clamoring for that unless the real thing that people want to see is new content, which is kind of an interesting thing to think about in and of itself. Like, streaming services are usually about getting people in based on the library, not based on the new content. Except if the new content is based on old content, like The Mandalorian.
So here we've got My Enemy by Locha Films. This is a bit lengthy in 16 minutes. I don't know if we can get through it. And then there's another live action production as well, which we can get to after this, if we can get through this. Because we've spent...
You just wanted to watch more of the like the whole video, or you just want to talk about it?
Well, I suppose we can talk about it. There are many aspects to talk about, because the rendering is absolutely spectacular. I don't think we have to watch the whole thing, because like after about 7 minutes, it's like looking into the perspectives of the Empire and the Rebellion. A lot of the technical elements is probably in the first 3 or 4 minutes.
I want to watch the parts of the Vader video.
The Vader fan film by Star Wars Theory.
Yeah, because it's goodish.
It's the cliche fan film. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I thought I was.
It's a high production fan film, quite literally.
Yeah, that's the reason why it's good-ish. You know what I mean? It's
because it's got the if you're judging it by the standards set by fan films, it's like above average. But it would never fare too well as like
as a real thing.
As a real thing, yeah.
That's every fucking fan film.
I wouldn't say it's every fan film, but I'd say a lot of fan films can sometimes have potential of, like, if it had the money and the work behind it, it could be something which you could see as like a professional story. But that's some Star Wars Theory, because he's just a fan. He's a diehard fan.
He's a famous fan.
That's all really I think he's thinking about. It's like, okay, do you know what, we're gonna have clones, and they're going to be firing, and we're going to have a Venator Star Destroyer, and we're going to have Vader, and we're going to have Mace Windu, and we're going to have Vader kill Palpatine, but he's not really killing Palpatine because it's a vision, and we're going to have Padme in there, and we're going to, it's mostly what like excites him is like a fan, because he likes all these elements. He just wants to throw them in there rather than looking at the story and thinking, okay, so how could we look into the character of Vader? How could we look into the relationship? What about the early days of the Empire could we really explore? Or even explore with Mace Windu, because Mace Windu's just going to turn up and he's just going to be cool. They're going to have a fight with Vader, and then he's probably going to die.
It's so
again
pointless.
It's yes,
so pointless. And by the way, I remember Machine Gun Odinson said Star Trek fan films greater than Star Wars fan films, and I don't even know if I agree with that, because I don't like any of the Star Trek fan films.
There are very few Star Trek fan films. Like there's a much greater volume of Star Wars fan films.
Like the worst episode of the fucking Shades of Grey or whatever is better than the best Star Trek fan film, in my opinion. I'd rather watch an official episode of that. But the real sad thing is that I feel like the best Star Wars content that's not made directly for the films or by Lucasfilm is like the Star Wars Old Republic advertisements. Remember those? Like Sacrifice. And
yeah, that's what I was
Deceive.
talking about before.
Those are so fucking good that it makes everybody else look bad. Like I get Star Wars, and I know how to do it in a short amount of time with different characters and different aesthetics. Wow, that's actually really, really impressive. Why not give those guys a movie? Just make a big CGI Star Wars movie. What the hell? You know what I'm saying? I'm really disappointed in the quality of writing and fan content, and then I'm also disappointed in the quality of the professional content, which makes me just go back to my initial premise that I had, which is the people that made these things in the first place were really talented, and it's hilariously hubristic to think that you can just fill in their shoes just because you're a fan of it or just because you are a professional. You know what I mean? You can't just recapture lightning in a bottle and over and over and over again if you don't even know what it is that makes that happen.
I'm trying to even think of like a proper Star Trek fan film which was actually good. Axanar, you've got a point there. It is really good, and it's on that like interview
it's not
format.
Good. It's not good though. Like it's not a good thing, but it's not bad. It's not like terribly.
No, the performances I think are done well, and it's not. The thing is though, it's not a film. It's like a fake documentary, and that is something which I suppose would never really be made as a film. And it was Axanar was made as a the prelude to Axanar was made as a companion piece to like what would be the actual fan film. So it's the prelude to the fan film even.
One of the things I really wanted to mention, just because I'm clicking through these different fan films that I see, is that like production budget is a big issue. Like it when it comes to live action stuff, if you're really considering it, your locations are expensive, your costumes are going to be expensive, your props are going to be expensive, and the set dressing is going to be expensive. That's why all these things that you're a fan of are expensive. Like, what do you think? What you think that you're just going to fucking throw together a Star Wars film for $2? Wouldn't they have done that by now? They're trying to figure out every way to make these things cheaper, and they cost hundreds of millions of dollars. So the primary
Jesus
thing
Christ, how many Voyager fan films are there?
I don't know. There's
how many people just want to insert themselves into Voyager? What the fuck?
That's what a fan film is. They want to be a part of the thing. That's the fandom. Being a fan is I want to be a part of the thing.
A lot of the fan films I've usually watched in the past are like, oh, but we're a ship. Like they're not actually trying to insert themselves into like most stories. Like,
no,
what is this?
I think it's like I want to make my own version of this, and then they just make a version of this, and it's just like I don't understand what you're gonna get out of it. But I understand that you're like gonna get. You want to get the views, and you want to get associated with certain things. Maybe something might come of it in your mind or whatever. You want to costumes,
I've got a
cosplay or whatever it is. Or
I've got a list of like it's the Star Trek fan films we can go over. We don't need to go too deep into them.
I don't know. You can just click around at them and just like pause at any point, literally, and just be like, oh, this is why this isn't working. You know what I mean?
And there's another one called Horizon. Which I want to look at because I've seen the entire thing. It's like a full-length movie, an hour and 42 minutes. It's terrible.
Like people go and make a fan film, and they're like, "All right, we got that. We got the costumes, we got the sets, we got the CGI." And like, "Oh yeah, did you remember to get a good script and actors?" No. Well, then you're fucked. It's just a bunch of your nerdy friends on a Star Trek set.
Oh, there are some really terrible Star Trek fan films which are like really fucking bad in terms of production value. Ugh. So
Sorry,
I mean, most like Star Wars fan films like are somewhat decent in their fan film budget. Of like, it's I feel like friends, they've got the guns, the armor, the cosplay. It's very easy to get a hold of, and then they go, play with lightsabers in the forest. You've got yourself a decent fan film. Then
did you say decent?
Well, you say average fan film, I should say, rather than decent.
But that doesn't mean it's decent.
But in terms of production quality, it's like looks all right. It's got somewhat cool action, but like with a Star Trek fan film, you're just kind of sitting on a ship because you don't have those sets. Because like Star Trek fan films require you to be on a ship a lot of the time or on a shuttle, and you can't afford those sets. But with Star Wars, you can go in a forest, you can go in you can go down the street, and whatever. There's just wildlife you can put it. Star Wars is just so huge. There's a vast array of different environments that you can just randomly choose. And Star Trek, it does have that vast array of environments, but you can't lose out on that ship element.
I like how there's a Vic
Mignogna.
Vic Mignogna episode of Star Trek Continues, and there's a fucking George Takei episode of Star Trek New Voyages with fucking the Yowman or whatever her name is, or someone. I don't even know. It's like it's below D grade films. That's the problem that I think people don't realize. It's like you're making a fucking Red Letter Media quality production. That's what's happening here. Oh man, there's a Seth MacFarlane fan film. We should watch that.
Right. So we'll watch the first few minutes.
There's like
My Enemy.
Seth MacFarlane when he was a kid. And he's playing Kirk, and there's this dude next to him that looks like a Mongoloid Spock.
So the first part of this, which you probably noticed, is that like the rendering is the best Loach has managed to get out of it. But like the facial animations, which he's still experimenting with.
Wait. What is it? So you think it's the production value? That's the thing that Loacher brings, is what you're saying. Loacher brings the quality.
Loacher is very good when it comes to Unreal Engine in technical.
Okay, so he's just like
elements.
a master of the toolkit, a master of the perspective and the production is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're like, yeah, this dude. Is that what you say? Because that's how like I look at people that like on my side of things. You know what I mean? I look at the guys that made Infinity Ward and Respawn. You know, Jason West and Vince Zampella. I'm like, oh yeah, those guys are the masters of the Call of Duty format. Like you could just pay those guys to make you a shooter, and you'll make money off of it. That kind of thing. Loacher, like you pay him to make this or something, or you put him to do something. You get what? What is it that's what I'm saying? Asking is like, what if Loacher was brought on to do something for you? Why would you be doing it? That's my question.
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
If you were like, we need Loacher for something, what would it be for? We're in the production house. You know what I mean?
I suppose he'd be. I don't know. He's very good at a lot of the rendering. Maybe not so much of the writing part, but the writing part I think it gets through as a fan film. But he's just because I'm trying to think of most productions don't require Unreal Engine, and Loacher just does the entirety of Unreal Engine mostly by himself. He doesn't produce the assets. He mostly does them. I suppose would it be like the idea, kind of the similar stance as compositing, like what compositors would do, putting everything together inside Unreal Engine, rendering it, and moving on to the next part of the production.
Okay.
Yeah, I could just move on to like some other shots. Just look how great this looks.
Set us up a scene, yeah. It looks really realistic. The lighting is amazing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Your turn.
And this is what I would mainly do.
The water doesn't look good at all, though.
Yeah.
Shut it. You can see my
something about the shininess of textures. Shiny.
Right.
Oh, I remember you've shown me this before, right?
I shot Morning Nonsense. I didn't remember if you were there.
And that is 5-3.
And this is all
like on you.
capture stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of motion capture stuff, and I think there are original assets in here, but I don't know exactly where they are, and I don't think Loacher made them himself, as Loacher is not a 3D artist. He's not a 3D asset production. I don't know what the fuck these names are. Like, he doesn't make the assets. Therefore, that's it. Clears it up.
He's got big assets.
He doesn't make the assets.
Next time you won't be so lucky. Keep telling yourself that.
TK-736 respond.
TK-736 responding.
Explain what you and T...
I don't think
Just
there's
remind me
anything else
that
to
the
say other
British
than just
Empire
the.
is evil. Yeah, thank you.
Is there anything else to say about this other than the rendering? I think there is a lot of potential with an Unreal Engine, and that's kind of why I want to make my original production in it. I know Glib kind of looks at that and says, "Oh, why would you want to make
No, I don't.
Why would you
That's
want to make a CG production?"
No, I don't. That's the reason why I think it's an interesting thing. I think that the conversation is centered around what are the audience's expectations based on CGI, and what are they willing to enjoy? Because is there any facial capture in this?
Yes. I don't know if it's facial motion capture, but
there's facial animation.
Yes, there's facial animation, and it's
I
very
want to see
off-putting.
eyes. We need to show people CGI eyes to convince them that it's more difficult than you think.
I believe
it's all in the eyes.
A sensible trooper like you can help us get closer to peace.
It looked like for a start, the mouths, the lips move a lot more than like the
dead
actual
eye syndrome.
Yeah, and the eyebrows as well don't seem to move too much.
But you can see how there's no like light in their eyes. There's no like.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's because they're not moving.
By the way,
they're just dead staring.
This is why the fucking Source engine and everything that they've done with their product is incredible. Because they make the eyes look alive somehow.
Well, I think when it comes to making a face look alive, the rendering itself is only half the battle. A lot of it is animation to try and make the characters look lively. It's the motion, I think.
It's also lighting and subsurface scattering when it comes to the eyes and how they track. It's really important. Like I'm just as somebody who's paid a lot of attention to CGI over time. It's like if you don't capture and when you're as an editor, when you're cutting, you cut on eyes. When you're looking at lighting as a CGI person, you're like, okay, I really have to make sure that this looks like they actually are looking at the person they're looking at, that they are not just dead staring like a Skyrim or Oblivion character at them, that kind of thing. Like, what is an idle animation? In real life, there is no such thing. There's always activity. So there has to be a way to capture that. Plus, how many capture points are you using to manipulate the face of somebody? That's going to change whether it's realistic or stylized.
Well, there isn't any capture points. This is using a lot of like
There's
face
a mesh, though.
mocap. Like there is a mesh.
Facial capture
yeah,
has a mesh, but usually use points to be more precise with the mesh. You know what
So
I'm saying?
the way this works, if it's what I think it is, it uses an iPhone or a webcam without points to try and just capture the data, and then it uses certain face shapes to move about. But the problem is that when you're using when you're, I've experimented with this, and the problem is that the iPhone with its depth sense camera is not too good at the motions. I mean, your mouth will move up and down, and so will your eyebrows, and your eyes will somewhat track, but it's just not a lot. Like you can't move your eyebrows individually. It will not really pick up a lot of the ways your mouth will move around.
Right. That's why you need different layers of capture usually for a performance.
Well, usually you just need more details to capture, and you need more blend shapes than what the iPhone offers. Because the Rococo stuff is built purely off of the iPhone, which is kind of a bit bullshit, the way you have to pay for it, because none of it is their technology. It's just they've got an iPhone, said, hey, look, it does somewhat of a job at facial mocap, and then they've just said, how about we charge 400 quid a year for people to use this shit? Luckily, I got it for free. Do you know why I got it for free?
Oh, I don't know.
So, what happened was they were late with the delivery of my mocap gloves, which meant I had to pay an import tax because of Brexit. And because of that, I complained and said, look, if your delivery was on time, because they were like several months late, they said the delivery was very late, like by 4 months. And they said, oh, look, very sorry. How about to say apologize? We give you like a year subscription for free, and we'll give you face mocap stuff. And I thought, face mocap stuff, this is great. For free for a year, I'm going to use this. Got myself an iPhone. But then the problem was that the it's that the mocap is not too good. I mean, I think
No,
there's
you
a
need- you need
comparison
a
that
lot
I could
more
probably
details.
pull.
There has
Yeah.
to, the tracking points by themselves, like being able to have a live model that is being tracked by the points that you have, plus the capture performance with the 3D shape of the face that they have, it creates a more powerful performance. But then at the same time, it's not just a performance capture, it's how you then rig all that information and what the information is looking like on the actual model with its textures and stuff.
See if I can pull. So here's the deleted scene of the Clone Wars, which was recreated by Cinematic Captures. I don't know if this has the comparison between the two. I have to check Cinematic Captures messages, because he sent me the comparison when I was talking to him about the face mocap stuff.
Can you play the
it's
Can you
have to download
can you play
it.
the Seth MacFarlane as a teenager in a Star Trek fan film one?
Just give me a minute, because I'm going to try and share this video file.
Okay. And then I want to watch the trailer for Space Cop, because it explains why making low budget shit looks like shit.
What the hell is it? Oh no, this is a problem when you don't clean up your bloody download folder. It just becomes full of shit.
Remember to clean your download folder, kids.
It's like, oh look, there's so many downloaded assets of Star Wars ships and crap, which I've just never used. I still download them for some bizarre reason. Well, maybe I'll need the Jedi Starfighter at some point, or maybe I'll need the Venator 3D model at some point. Then I've got several Venator 3D models, like all of which are different varieties of good. Right, I've got it. Here it is.
Anakin, dwelling on Ahsoka.
So this is the raw mocap data.
Anakin, dwelling on Ahsoka's decision won't bring her back.
I mean, look at
Anakin,
that. But then
dwelling on Ahsoka's.
It's they add on top of a lot more motion, and they better lip sync a lot of the movement in the face, and it becomes so much more better.
Her back.
And I think this is probably the best way to go.
Anakin, dwelling on Ahsoka's decision won't bring her
So
back.
if you're going as a fan production, you use the raw data and you turn it into a lot more like fluid movements. You add a lot more details
Anakin,
into it.
Dwelling on Ahsoka's decision won't bring her back.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm looking at it, and it's like it clearly does.
Anakin.
It does the job. You know what I mean? I don't think it does
Dwelling
it
on
as well as I want it to, but it does do the job.
I mean, even just small things like blinking and slight eye movements bring it a lot more life.
I agree, but I would much prefer to have highly detailed capture.
I mean, you're never gonna get
like that's not
something
as
better.
good.
No, but
that
you're
facial
never gonna
capture
get
stuff is not as good as the G-Man from 2003. That's the problem I have. It's just the model's higher resolution.
Mm-hmm.
And like
Well,
I know you. Can do that.
I was just gonna say that you're never truly going to. No, that wasn't what I was saying for it. You know, I'm trying to think of a better way to phrase it now, because I think I phrased it. Gonna phrase it poorly. The best way to do it is always going to be to like try and rip it straight from humans. Like that's why we have mocap suits. That's why mocap suits are becoming a lot more popular to be used in things like films and video games, because you get a much more fluid and realistic movement because you're actually having to draw it from actual people. But the resources and the price for that is very expensive, and it takes time for that technology to be made more available as it slowly just moves down the line. And we're not quite there yet when it comes to a lot of the mocap technology. We're sort of there with mocap suits. We are there with like hand motion capture. We're not there yet with facial mode capture, because everyone's focusing on the actual bodies. They're focusing on having this character, and the facial animations will usually in most reductions be done like animated anyway. Like it's something you can do separately because of the blend shapes and stuff can always be animated in Blender or Maya or whatever you're doing it with. But, so you wanted me to show the Seth MacFarlane one?
Yeah, just
I'll
because
pull it up now.
that'd be funny to relate it.
Which
we all
one's
know
that?
how successful
The top one?
Yeah, it says right there. It just shows like where you can go from fan film to being $100 million, billion dollars.
Well, I suppose Seth MacFarlane's a bit like you in terms of, like he was someone which was probably born in Hollywood. Like I've seen the thing you made when you were younger.
Oh yeah.
Oh look, it's the Orville.
Is there no audio? Damn it. There's seriously
Fuck
no
are
audio?
they? Is it just they're just stuck shit on a wall?
Yeah, they did. Here comes the wiggle bit. All
you
need to
can
do is just
tell
wiggle
what
a
they've
bit.
done is that
Wiggle
he's
a
gotten a toy. So he's had a toy of the Enterprise, probably a pretty good one, and then
That's
he's
pretty
just
good.
filmed it in front of a green screen and then like cut out the background.
Keep playing it. Keep
But
playing.
I just love the fact that he's just wiggling it with his hands.
Oh, and then everybody got crashed into the black hole. It's
Oh
they have
no,
one
we
angle.
crashed into the black hole. How do you crash into a black hole?
Is there's no volume on this for real? God, that sucks.
What? Can't you hear it?
No, I can't hear it.
Oh, sorry. Must have forgot to share audio.
Oh, we're missing all the jokes. Go back to the beginning. Oh, you gotta go. Okay, all right.
I was actually worried about the music because it sounds like it's from an actual Star Trek film.
Oh, is it?
Production.
Okay.
See if I can keep an eye on it.
Look at this guy. It looks like a monkey. Proton Stalker says it's a sleep hole.
Sends people
you
to
wake
sleep.
up in the sleep hole.
He's not Mr. Spock, he's Mr. Spook.
Mr. Spog.
It's just him and his nerd friends. Oh no, it's supposed to be Spock.
And he's supposed to be Kirk. That's so funny.
I suppose
he's such a
maybe
fucking nerd.
this
dude.
is the reason why he plays Ed Mercer in the Orville, because he has like the fantasy of actually being the captain.
Totally. Now we have undeniable proof that that's the case.
I mean, I suspected it before, but this is definitely proof.
This is proof. By the way, just as an aside, just from the fact that this guy put this together like this, I gotta be honest, like I think that you can see a little bit of the talent coming through together. Like this is the beginning, obviously. This is before he knew shit about anything, and he's putting together just like all this little toy stuff and whatever. You know, it shows that if you start with this passion, it can go somewhere. It really can if you actually just go through the process.
Yeah,
of learning.
if you just have this passion and you accidentally create a show which is worth billions to the point where, you know, Hollywood will basically suck your dick if you do anything. Yes, you can do anything.
Yeah, and then you can literally make your fan film. Like
you can literally make your fan film as original production.
Yeah.
It'll only take a 1 in a million chance at when you make a shit animated show.
Depends on who you are, though. You know, so, I mean, what's special about Seth MacFarlane besides the fact that he's just him?
Well,
You know what I'm saying? He just
the
did it.
reason we know the reason why he can create the Orville, and
Also,
it's
the Orville
because
looks like shit, by the way. Like this visually, it looks terrible. Anyway,
the reason why he was able to make the Orville is just because he's already made, Family Guy, and because he's made Family Guy, he's got a lot of connections. And
I don't know if it was Family Guy. I think it was the Cleveland Show. That was really what made what made Seth MacFarlane famous. Everything up to that was just a starter course for the dynamite, dynamic comedy, the Cleveland Show.
You're joking, but being serious.
Cleveland
what did he do before Family Guy?
He's a Hanna-Barbera guy. He was an animator. He kept trying to make a show that was about a guy and his dog, and then he was like, well, why don't I just rip off The Simpsons? And then he sold the show as the version of that was a ripoff of The Simpsons, and that became Family Guy. Kind of like how Rick and Morty was a Doc and Marty ripoff, and then they were like, why don't you add a family to rip off The Simpsons, and then it became popular. You see, if you just take your animated idea and add The Simpsons to it, and then you'll have a hit cartoon show. It's easy peasy.
So, a few
also,
of the
Cleveland Show is the greatest cartoon of
I haven't actually seen this all the way through, but I've just kind of gone through it. And
it's a
kind
bunch
of weird.
people in the woods with Roman Emperor glasses on. Oh, she's on the holler deck.
Yeah, I was
What if it was
curious
just the
why
holodeck
she was
and it's
fighting
like
a fucking Roman.
What if it's the holodeck?
Why the fuck she? Oh, she was getting stabbed by on the holodeck or
My
something.
combat training's a bit
I'll
rusty,
admit,
but there
I'm
wasn't much at the academy
fucking
to fight the
English.
Roman soldier.
Hello there. Hello there, Governor. I'm on the Star Trek Enterprise.
The fuck? How
I'm
did you
gonna
just-
stab you in the ass. I've got
How-
you digging now.
How the hell?
Option 3.
This is a real film. This is somebody really made.
So
this.
she just. How slow is this Roman?
How slow is the director of this movie?
There wasn't much at the academy for fighting the Roman
Look at this though.
I wasn't much in the academy for this
She just
fighting
goes to the side,
around
grabs the sword, and
soldier.
he doesn't do anything.
And then the guy doesn't even say anything. He just looks like an old man.
He's just an old. Maybe that's why he's slow, because he's an old fucking man.
Stares an old man. Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the USS Knockoff. Samuel Cockring. Stephen Cockring. Rhea
Why the hell does it
Cockring.
have four it has two smaller nacelles under the body of the ship for some bizarre reason?
It's just gotta. It's the rule. The rule of 10% different makes it good.
Skills. I know.
Oh
I'm
god,
making
that
it
looks
so
awful.
The green screen.
They don't have the set. They're just glued
know.
into the set.
It's an important side
Well,
of the mission.
there's green screened, and they've made like a 3D set behind them.
It could, but a shuttle sensors that close
British people should not be allowed to make movies.
Right, was it?
The fuck are you on about? This is just a really shit fan film.
I know, I'm just fucking
As a
around.
scientist, explorer, and pilot.
I'm just a silly bitch.
I'm just amazing.
Just a silly. Listen,
I'm just an amazing pilot.
My name is Captain Mary Sue. There's two of us on this here ship. It's a huge capital ship. There's two of us. Bloody good show.
Do
it.
Everybody on this ship. This
Oh,
ship
God, that
is
looks-
coming out of Dartmouth.
You can see this like black line that goes around the whole character, like here especially, on the face where it's got like a high amount of contrast. Ugh.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
really green screen.
Andrew Clark's super chat is
Oh.
proof. Should we just add The Simpsons, bro? Chibi morning nonsense. Plus The Simpsons.
Oh, the rebirth. Why is it a foreign trill? When did trills have like foreign accents?
It could be
4516 waveband.
Do it.
Johnny.
Based on these readings, I'd say that.
Oh, she's Scottish, I think.
Shiny. So, did you see the super chat?
Oh yeah, sorry. Chibi morning nonsense plus Simpsons. Glib is Bart.
So just to flesh out that concept, it'd be like Literature Devil is dad or whatever, like Homer the devil or whatever, and then we have your Lisa Simpson. Have you watched The Simpsons at all?
Barely seen it. Probably I watched it a bit more when I was younger, but I haven't seen too much of it.
You gotta watch The Simpsons. Come on, Shiny. You gotta watch The Simpsons. You gotta watch I don't know, season 1 through 3, at least.
But
anyway,
I just can't be bothered with it.
it's
be
the
honest.
most popular cartoon, probably, I think, of all time. Maybe SpongeBob now? I don't know.
So here's the full production one, and this is for some bizarre reason.
Oh my
a
god!
Enterprise
it looks terrible
fan film.
again.
A weapon
Look
of
at the
It's
glow in the background.
Just green screen, and
lighters
there's
from
so much
fucking
fucking bloom.
Garbage.
Romulan's would never risk building.
This is
their
like what
boats.
somebody. This is a
J.J.
ENB
Abrams fan
realism.
film.
This is the ENB realism mod for Skyrim, and they're just like everything's blown to shit with the bloom and like the texture mods.
Well,
High
J.J.
resolution
Abrams just
Skyrim
throwing
Star Wars.
lens flares at the camera lens to try and make it look cool, or it had like dirt on the lens to add like extra bit of grit or something.
Marge.
I admit it seems a bit unlikely.
Oh, well, that's even worse.
Just Vaseline on the lens, baby. That's my chance. Vaseline on the lens, homie.
I think what it mainly is to try and hide the layers.
Everything,
like
yes.
to try and have it composite.
Oh my god. It's like when somebody turns up the fucking
It's in
Photoshop
every
filters.
fucking scene.
Yeah, it's every shot. It's gonna be like glowing in the background. Oh!
He's just sitting.
He looks
around,
tiny.
Like, he looks awkward. Like
You can't. Okay, so just so everybody gets, like, the scaling of water is really hard in movies. Yes, sir. Water does not scale.
Right now, we can't
you have
get
to
a clear
shoot it
enough
at the
block.
right focal length with the right lens.
Get
See how
to
the
that
water?
scene.
Look at the water.
Yeah.
Look at how large the water droplets are. Like, they just like matted him in there on this CGI pad. It looks terrible. No, and,
Well,
and
it's
he's just,
mostly
like,
the compositing. So you look at the ground. Look how the ground's being lit, and it's a completely different. Like there's in real life, there's a light just here, but in the actual scene, there is no light there. Like you can see
you're
from
totally
the
right. Yeah.
the shadow is also going off in a completely different direction to where the light is actually going onto him, because you can see that the light is coming from this direction, but the light, according to that shadow, is coming in that direction, that angle.
And then it makes it pop. Yeah, totally.
So it's a lot of elements which kind of come together to make it really look weird. But there's no bloom, so thank God for that. It didn't hurt my eyes.
Like attack drones.
I'd say that's exactly what they are. Tactical alert. Load photonic torpedoes.
Photonic. Oh my god. Oh my god. There's like a shadow.
Why is there a why is there a
oh god
outer glow surrounding his presence, like of darkness? Look at it. It's like everywhere he moves. It's not like an actual shadow. Shadows don't ambient around you.
They are. They are.
You can see it. What is that? Why does he have this shadow?
He's got a drop shadow enabled.
No, he's got a drop shadow there, and that's not what I'm talking about. But there's like this darkness which just follows it. You can see it even on this side. Just look as he moves.
Platonic. Proton Stalker says platonic torpedoes. You shoot them and they make friends. It's great. I love it.
Oh, we got Andrew
love that.
Clark. Watch the trailers for Saving Hope count lens flares.
Oh, that'd be great. I'd be down to do that.
Yeah, it could possibly be an attempt at ambient occlusion. Possibly. But that is, even if they try to do that, that is far too much. Oh god.
am from the 31st century. We have technology that allows us to travel through time with the ease that you
Oh
can.
yeah, so I remember watching this. I think it was another few years back before I got any kind of technical knowledge, and I watched the whole thing and I thought, what the fucking pile of crap this is. But obviously it's a fan film, so you're gonna be easy on it. It's an hour and 40 minutes of this. They added this really weird romance plot between this guy and a time agent who was like a lieutenant in his crew, and it's really forced, and it's probably with his wife or something.
Oh, I think we can switch to the next one. This is just... It's going to be
Like,
all that way the whole way.
The fuck's happening here?
He's... He's hiding.
Right, we'll move on to the next one. So I think we just did Horizons. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's this one.
I sent you a couple of funky ones, right?
You sent me a few, but I was just choosing between the ones which I already have. So there's Prelude to Anaxar, but there's another one which is interesting to say the least. It's not really much of a fan film trying to be a story. It's more just how about we just throw everything together in this attempt.
Also, by the way, you should pull up and muted. We should watch the John Carter trailer because I just would love you to see what I was talking about to understand how like there's a clash aesthetically between old world media and new world media, and I don't know how to fix that.
Well, if you pull it up, we can look at it.
All right.
And this is really cheesy in terms of fan productions. So if
have been ravaged by
it reminds me of something I did like years ago.
Oh, I remember this. I've seen this.
Oh, you've seen it. So it's like
we
they just
Morning Nonsense.
Did we?
I think so. I know I've seen this with Literature Devil before.
It's where they just throw Mass Effect, Star Trek, Halo, everything. They just throw it together. And like the CGI stuff is terrible.
Commander, judging by the reading I'm getting, this relay appears to be very unsafe.
Attempted Garrus. You know, a lot of it is just fans. Like they really wanted to play Joker, or they really wanted to play Commander Shepard.
Let's do it, Joker.
Everyone stand by.
Absolutely.
But they actually got Mark Mears to do the voice, which is bizarre to me.
Crazy. Yeah.
Rerouting.
Rerouting to my ass.
Also, the story makes no fucking sense.
It's a trap.
Why are the Reapers so fucking small? Or the Normandy's just really big. And of course, why did they do 2009 Star Trek? The worst.
Noted, Spock. Captain, there's no logical solution to our predicament. The enemy ship is warp capable.
Captain, there's no logical solution. Well, use an illogical one!
Doctor, not a Vulcan. Captain, we've got incoming.
Captain, it's a Volkswagen Beetle.
I mean, the compositing on the set is much better than the other ones. So,
this is pretty good.
So let's see if I can get up. It's like a second. Like there, the compositing on the actual set with the lighting, I think that's somewhat alright. It's much better than the other ones we were looking at before.
Yeah. Yep.
Captain, reading spatial anomaly from the warp field.
Just goes into a wormhole somehow.
Quick, steer directly into the anus.
Go into the black hole! It's better than death. It is.
Everybody hang on to something in the spaceship that has gravity. Meanwhile, in the Star Wars, Chewie locked down auxiliary power, Vitch.
Like someone that doesn't look like Lando.
Oh my God!
And someone that doesn't look like Leia. And
bootleg Han Solo.
It's just a guy and his wife.
My name is Han Solovich.
This is hilarious, though.
And
Look at
Leia,
this.
Princess
Got a
Lego.
bad feeling about this.
How the hell did you
My name
just
is Han Solo.
find yourself suddenly inside a fleet?
So dumb, dude. So dumb.
But look at this. How did they possibly surprise you? How did you walk into this?
Chewie locked down auxiliary
Oh,
power.
no, that set compositing was worse there. And the Star Destroyer is only good because it's taken from a public asset which has been made by another fan. I can
But
find
it's
the
really
Star
good.
Destroyer asset. I've used it.
It's really
Yeah,
good
that-
compositing of the
Very
internal
much
sets look good.
The Falcon doesn't look too good though.
No, but the internals look good.
What even is that reaction?
I don't even know. They have no dialogue.
And we've got Halo.
What's this new? Oh, it's the pillar of daughters.
You know, I think you could just watch this as just for fun, to take the piss out of all the terrible stuff in it.
So what are we? Some kind of Starship Squad?
Cortana. All I need to know is, who are they?
Scanning.
Wow, that acting is terrible.
Are they hostile?
Unknown.
I am a German officer.
Wake him up.
I'm here to be the
I think that's supposed to be Captain Keyes.
There's just Master Commander.
That's pretty good. That shot.
This is so stupid.
What are we
I
doing
know.
here?
It's giving me douche chills.
Captain, it appears we are in the Milky Way galaxy.
Captain,
however,
it
our star date
appears
is incorrect.
we're in a cliche of a fan film.
Scanners indicate this
It
is
seems
indeed
like we
Earth,
just
however,
thrown
it
these
seems
franchises
like
together in a way that makes no sense, is incredibly
attention
forced
to
and
future
contrived.
of our
Pillar of
galaxy.
Gotham. That's good.
Alternate
Zergo.
timeline, huh? You know how much I love those. Are they hostile?
You know how much I love those, Spork. That's right, Commander Keck.
This planet sure reminds me of Alderaan.
Well, it's not all.
Says looking at Africa.
This planet sure reminds me of Wakanda.
They aren't part of the rebellion, but they're not attacking us. Maybe they're lost as well.
Yeah, good point, Chancellor. How does this get past conception? Somebody is just mad enough to put this together. They just have
Yeah,
that
it's
sickness in
purely
their head.
just for the hell of just throwing all these fan things
Oh,
together.
dude, and then there's this shot where Master Chief comes out and he's
Oh, by the
like
way,
shaking
you
his
can see
oh,
that
dude,
they
and then Kirk is
artificially
like, oh.
they artificially changed the height. I remember looking at this. You can see his feet there, and the legs of Captain Keyes are like his feet. So he's standing on a box or something.
That's great.
To make Master Chief look.
Great.
You can see his crotches at his chest.
They didn't even bother doing like an angle thing.
Hmm.
They just were like, no, put them in the same shot together, but have them stand in a box. That'll work.
Open hailing frequencies.
This is Captain James T. Kirk of the
This
U.S.
is so insane, dude.
Come in peace.
This is
Please
Captain.
identify yourself.
This is Captain Crunch. General Mills here.
Captain James T. Kirk, USS Enterprise. Come in.
You're the USS Enterprise. The U.S. doesn't exist anymore.
Commander Shepard.
This is Commander Shepard.
Although you know this has its own
Commander
soundtrack,
douchebag.
which just kind of throws together all the music from the thing. Like you can hear, like they're putting Star Trek, Mass Effect,
Han Solo,
and
Millennium Falcon.
Halo themes
You're under
in
heavy
one.
attack from the Empire, and suddenly we end up here.
What, dude? What would happen if like all these people like
Well,
they
as
just
far as I
like
can
showed
tell
up
from
in the
that
same
here,
space, dude?
Galaxy far, far away from here.
Well, it looks like we're all stuck here. Perhaps we can help each other.
I like how I just got a notification for our stream. Thanks, YouTube. 2 hours in.
YouTube, thank you.
Push me the note.
Hey, the Empire's here now.
Get us out of here! Looks like we took a few of those Star Destroyers with us.
Looks like we got. Shut the fuck up, dumb bitch. God, this sucks.
Can you imagine for Andrew Clark for $2? Can you imagine the Axel Braun version of this? Who?
Can you imagine the porn version of this?
Well, I mean, this would be pretty good for a porn production.
This is Captain Shepard. Meet me on the planet for the
The
orgy.
other ships are offering us their assistance.
Good, we'll take it. At least now we know we can trust them.
You know they should do? They should play all of the themes together at the same time.
I know, that's what I was saying. Oh, that CGI R2-D2 looks terrible.
What's it saying?
It's saying you're gay.
The Millennium Falcon has found coordinates to a human space station behind one of Jupiter's moons.
Quick,
Relay those
analyze,
coordinates
zoom,
to our
enhance,
devices. We need a
hack
safe
the
place to
program.
regroup, and that's where we go.
Hey, wait, we're all good guys. Everybody stop fighting, dude. Totally, bro.
Though, okay, I will point out a small nice touch in continuity. They made the Normandy go through the portal with the Pillar of Autumn because the Normandy can't go very fast in terms of FTL drive. Like, it's a nice detail. Small
Who
thing.
cares?
Continuity thing. That's okay. But oh look, all the enemies have joined together now for some bizarre reason. They're not fighting each other, which you probably think they would do.
This is Captain Evil Empire with the Federation.
The Klingons, the Covenant, the Empire, the Reapers, they're all just working together because how much they hate the protagonists. All of them.
This is like what a 6th grader writes.
I know.
Not even. This is like what a 3rd grade. Not even.
I mean, I could
it's like
probably show
a bunch
you...
of 1st graders being like, yeah, and then they all team up to fight the Normandy.
I'm going to point out that I could probably show something like my version of this, where I put Mass Effect and Star Wars together, and it's probably just as bad as I would remember.
No, it's not as bad as this. This is dumb.
I know, but it's hilarious. It's like the
No,
Room
it's
kind of
not.
bad of fan
We've
films.
all come here from different universes.
R2.
Possibly a rupture in the space-time
Possibly a rupture in your anus.
Magnitude unknown.
Latitude 44469.
Unknown.
Any idea how to stop them?
Captain's log 42069.
I just look perplexed, and they destroy the Pillar of Autumn for no reason.
We need to get to our
We need to get to our ships. Mine just blew up, you asshole! Too soon! Too soon! What are we gonna do, bastard chief?
Shepard.
What was the whole point
Can
of
we
this?
borrow a
To
ride?
destroy the Pillar of Autumn.
Our ship.
Hey,
They just stared at him and then went, our ship.
Noble Commando.
And it's blowing up in the background.
Noble Commando, I want to point out, this is the
He
reason
doesn't even know
why
who this guy is!
These ships are shit.
Let us help you finish the fight.
You can't do anything.
Fuck off! It's up. All right, let's finish the fight. Let us Star Trek 4, A Voyage Home.
Joker.
Joker.
Oh
I have
god, the
wrist
Omnitor looks
gauntlet.
terrible.
Look at Joker. I'm Batman.
I mean, what the hell is the fucking Millennium Falcon gonna do in this situation?
Who's fighting who? Why? Why is it around Jupiter?
They're all
What is
fighting.
happening?
No idea
Who's
how.
shooting who?
I've honestly no clue how.
In the script, it just
the
says
Normandy, the Normandy, the Millennium Falcon, and the Enterprise is going to fight the combined power of the Reapers, the Covenant, the fucking the USS Vengeance, whatever it was, the Section 31 ship in Into Darkness. They're gonna fight all of those. And I could somewhat buy, like, okay, the Pillar of Autumn is also a warship. You've got your two heavy hitters, which is the Enterprise and the Pillar of Autumn. No, but the Pillar of Autumn's gone. What's the Falcon going to do against a Star Destroyer or any of these other ships? The Normandy, maybe, because it's got that big cannon on the front. But, you know,
why would the solution to any of these events be let's all shoot each other?
But it's still, why are they all working together? You could actually make this
in the
somewhat
script. It
work
just
better
says
if
it
you
just says
have them
action.
You have the the Empire, the Klingons, the Covenant. Everyone just fights each other because that would at least make it a lot easier for the heroes to win.
That's
But
stupid.
Okay, if you had the Reapers and the Empire meet, they're not going to get along. They're not going to be best friends. If the Covenant and the Empire meet, they're not going to get along either. So they're not just going to suddenly unify against our protagonists, especially if we're not even talking to each other.
Let's just stop. Just shut
Just
it down.
stop. Just stop. Don't think about it.
Shut it down. Yellow alert.
I just don't want to watch it for how stupid it is.
Why? Why not just leave?
It's like The Room.
Just leave.
Oh no,
Oh
Reapers!
shit! Oh, crab people! Rapists. And he's like, oh my god, what is that? He doesn't even know what it is. What? So what?
Oh, now they're suddenly working against each other. But I mean, that was convenient. A minute ago, they were perfectly fine with each other.
I like how every single action sequence is just lasers. Lasers. Lasers.
Alex, hello. They were just trying to each other, yeah.
What about shields?
What if we had the Millennium Falcon fight Klingons? That's what everyone
dude,
wanted, right?
And nothing of consequence matters. Nothing happens, doesn't matter.
Oh, it looks terrible. You can tell what they've used for that, though. They've used a free thing called, I think it's called Saber, and it's made by, fuck, I can't even remember the name now. It's a free After Effects plugin, Video Copilot. That's it. And it's made to try and imitate lightsabers, but people use it for like other lasers which just don't look good. Use a 3D laser. It works much better than just something you use in 2D in After Effects. Don't composite lasers in post effects. Just trust me on that one. I mean, when you're doing 3D, that is. That's what I'm saying. And the Death Star destroyed the Reapers. I'm not kidding. It's just the Death Star. For some bizarre reason. And they are trying to play this off seriously.
The Death Star.
No!
Destroyed that
I
thing.
told you.
You know, this whole alternate reality thing's become real confusing.
No! Shut up!
Captain, I may have a solution.
Captain, I may have a solution. We could just kill ourselves right now.
Red matter to neutralize enemy ships.
Oh.
Normally, I suggest we beam in aboard the enemy vessel. However, due to
The
its
Death
shielding
Star, at
capabilities,
this time of year, entirely localized in this bizarre timeline.
And you're... Hey, you haven't seen The Simpsons. That's a good Simpsons joke, though.
Well, of
At
course
this
I know
time of year.
steamed hams.
Localized entirely within your Blender application. Oh, they got the red matter from Star Trek 2009, and he's gonna do the Halo 2. Oh my god. Check it out, Morty!
I'd say the color of Cortana looks alright.
Yeah, because she got a nice titty, baby.
She does not. Well, whatever you guys do, do it quickly.
But the Garrus looks
Oh my
terrible.
god.
Alright, so
That
Andrew
guy's the
Clark for
worst.
$5. Strip the IPs, the situation taken seriously could be interesting as a short film. Have a bunch of different factions show up at a certain location.
No, that's yesterday's Enterprise. We already did that. I don't want it, but you're right. Anything could be good. You're right. You could make it good. That's true.
Could you being the
I wouldn't be the right guy to
operative
hire for
word.
that. That's what I'm saying. I couldn't stand it.
But you would be Hitler's top lieutenant.
I'm not a big fan of Hitler.
And I disapprove of what he did, but I'd be like his top
I'm not like a
commander.
massive super fan or anything.
Listen, I hate to bring up the party here, but there's no way I'm bringing the North.
I'm not saying Stalin was
How about
the
some kind of
worst
diversion?
ever.
Also, why is Joker wearing a Spectre shirt? Yay, they're all here now.
No!
For some reason. They just appear.
This should be a fucking.
Oh, that model looks terrible. Of the
Bring us in.
the Halo cruiser. I can't remember what it's called now.
USS George Washington. This makes me not want to be a fan of anything ever again.
But no, they're gonna get Master Chief to drop the red matter into the Death Star.
Directly into my ass.
They're gonna do it somehow. Why do they even need Master Chief to throw the fucking red matter into the Death Star?
Because they didn't have anything for him to do. Like, what is Master Chief doing? Oh, he's gonna do this.
He doesn't even need to carry it all the way.
Master Chief, what are you doing? Man, I don't know. This is too convoluted for me.
Oh, lucky they missed, and the Enterprise done fucking nothing in this entire sequence. Oh, that CGI Master Chief looks terrible. It's using the model from Halo 3.
That's why I'm calling him Bastard Chief.
Oh my god. And it sucks all the bad guys into the black hole.
All the bad guys into the same black hole.
All of them.
It sucked all the black guys into the same bad hole. I mean, bad guys.
That's very lucky you didn't pull any of the good guys in.
It's a bad guy hole. It's a bad hole, not a black hole.
It sucks in the bad guys. I mean, if you look at something like Doctor Who, where they explained why it only sucked in the Daleks, the Cybermen, the Doctor, and Rose, was because they had like the Void stuff, and they set that up, and so therefore it makes sense. Okay, they don't do that here. It just sucks in the bad guys. Why? Who fucking knows?
Give him the suck.
Yeah, I just suck them all in. And then hyperspace somehow becomes everything. Like, just mix it all together. I'm sure that's how it works.
That was bloody insane, to quote British people. Bloody mental.
It was bloody insane.
Oh, okay, now it's on my thing.
Yeah, now it's on you. I'm gonna pull up my
Is
my
it,
attempt
it's not
at a crossover.
It's not playing audio from my side, is it? Just like background audio? How does that work?
No, I don't hear any background audio.
I mean, okay, good. Because I have Half-Life in the background.
I mean, it might pick up like copyright from the visuals.
That's okay. Okay. So like, first off,
it only shares audio if you tell it to
episode-
share audio. Wait, why is it
episode 2 vibes, right?
Why is it the Geonosian arena?
Right off the bat. It might be like because George referenced it. I don't know, but like, okay, first off, we have an unlikable first guy. It already looks like a movie that we've seen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't look realistic, but look at this guy's just jumping around and shit.
Well, I wouldn't even say this particularly looks modern. It just looks shit.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. This is directed by Brad Bird from
Why
all
is
the
the
Pixar
CGI
movies.
giving me like the Mummy vibes, and not in a good way?
But that's what I'm saying. You can't make these old school looking things in this new style. It looks like
Well,
junk.
Because they changed
Especially
it
with
all
this
to be like, hey, what if we have just spaceships and everything? Because everything used to be a lot more reserved, like in terms of the spectacle department. You know, when it comes to,
do you know John Carter is a book? It's a series. It's like a character from really old pulp stuff, like before all of the other heroes, before Doc Savage and all that shit. And so John Carter, all this is not all of this, because they obviously did their own version of shit, but there's like descriptions of things. So then when you translate it into a CGI environment, you're like, what? This is 100 years too late, basically. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like it has this jarring old world aesthetic with new world CGI filling everything in. And it's like, why would you want to see that?
I'm not sure if the CGI specifically, but a lot of the shots just don't fit the aesthetic.
They don't
Even
look
if you did this
real.
with like
okay, this shot looked real. Look, everything in this, not this shot. Hold on, let me go back to it. This shot. There's no CGI shit in it, so it looks like it's from a totally different movie.
They've got background replacement on a green screen.
Here?
Yeah, they're on a green screen.
No.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Well,
No,
at
they're
least
not.
it looks
That's a
like
real
to me.
location. This
You
stuff
sure?
is yeah. This was
Maybe
this
it's
was
just
like
because it's
10
low
years ago.
resolution.
Look at the CGI. It looks fucking garbage. All the real world material.
Okay, if you look
looks
at the
good.
like there,
All the CGI looks like garbage.
Like at the scene which you were just showing, that you can't tell me. No, back to the other one, the one with the eyes. That is most definitely green screen. You can see the feathering on the behind it. Look at
No, yeah,
on
I
his
agree with that.
shoulder.
I agree with
And
that.
I
'Cause he's
thought
supposed to be in
I
the
could
sky.
I thought I could see the exact same feathering on there, but
Here?
it might just be blur. Yeah, I think I can see a little bit of feathering, but I can't quite tell.
What would that? So they're just CGI'd into a realistic background. That's all. It's all
Well,
real
the-
material, is what I'm
there
saying.
is-
It has a functional aesthetic that looks like it's from one movie, and then the CGI aesthetic looks like it's from a totally different movie.
When it comes to background replacement, well, first that background replacement with green screen is not CGI. When you talk about CGI, it's usually like 3D shit. But
No, I'm talking about all
even
of the stuff
like
that they're
green screen will
composited
still be
into.
used to like replace with stuff with live action. And I remember I was watching, as I said, I was watching like SG1, and they obviously needed to separate the layers between the actors. And it was so because they would needed them to be beamed up. So you had like the Teal'c and Jack, and then you had two actors in front of them, and because they needed to remove them in a beam, they green screened in Teal'c and Jack. Now you cannot notice that they are green screened in because it is done perfectly fine, but there's a small bit of feathering around the two characters, and as well as there's a mistake, which is a blink and you'll miss it thing because the scene is so short. Teal'c is wearing a shirt which has green on it, and if you look carefully, the green stuff, all the stuff that is supposed to be green, you can see straight through it because they missed the fact that they could easily just they missed it. That's what they missed, that he's part of him is now see through.
Right.
So there are many shots which have like live action backgrounds in TV shows or in movies or such, which have live action backgrounds or background replacement, but they're still green screened.
Right, I know, but what I'm saying is that from this movie, like this
Mhm.
frame that we're looking at right here, it's like a almost totally CGI composited thing, and then this shot, there's almost none of that, and so it's like it looks like two totally different aesthetics. It's jarring. It's just the visual aesthetic of it. It looks like
I think the
two different
the
things.
CG as well. When you're looking at the people, it just looks uncanny valley. They don't look right. Like those creatures, they look. Oh my god, the green screen on that guy looks terrible.
Right, but it's
he
like
doesn't look
they
like
don't
he's in the
even-
scene. He looks
No,
like
they
he's
don't.
being composited on top of a CGI scene, and it doesn't look good.
Right, that's like that's not realistic. Like they didn't bridge stylized stuff with real world aesthetics with the CGI well. The CGI
Mhm.
looks shiny and plasticky, and he looks way over textured and gritty. And the two of them just don't match. It's like look at what he's holding on to.
Andrew Clark
Like,
for $2. Shiny is a
this.
CGI apologist. Quit simping, Shiny.
Look, what is this? What the fuck? How is he supposed to fly this thing? What is this design?
No clue.
It's fucking dumb. And then it's just episode 2 vibes. Sierra and Hines. It's supposed to be like all this. It's supposed to be like kind of Dune-ish, where everybody wears armor and all this stuff, and it looks old school. But at
Mhm.
the same time, there's all this like spaceship shit. It looks like shit, and that's why it bombed in theaters.
It's kind of giving me a bit Avatar
Jamming-
vibes in terms
Yeah.
of the
Yes.
the CGI army of aliens that are like really primitive.
It's an isekai version, because you know what? He's from the fucking Civil War era, and he falls into a mine and then gets isekai'd away to this magical universe with fucking, what's his name? Michael Shannon or whatever. Oh, and then he just fucking
Alright,
and then he
there we go. Sorry, it cut off for a moment because I was messing around with something. Show it again.
Okay. It's just dumb. Oh yeah.
What the fuck? How did he jump that high?
It's because
That's
like
a-
the
that's a
gravity,
big jump.
Earth's gravity or something is way heavier or something. I don't.
Oh, so that means he's really strong.
Yeah,
on
so
Mars. Oh.
Exactly, because he's on Mars. and it's like-
That checks out. I
and
get
look,
it.
He's on Mars, but it's a Mars from the 1930s before we knew anything about Mars. So it's like it's supposed to all be mystical and magical. Why the fuck would you fucking make that all CGI? It's totally old world thinking. Make it look old world with old world rules. I mean, that's the reason why Star Wars was changed from the Flash Gordon serials anyway. It was, let's take this old idea and do it with really good quality production value. This, it's like, let's take that idea and the production value equals what? CGI compositing. I don't like that thinking. That's not
So-
production value.
This is my 17-year-old self's attempt at making a crossover. And this was my level 2 FMP final major project done in After Effects and Element 3D. And I have to
Prepare
say,
downvote this
very
video,
quickly,
everybody. I apologize in advance. for
Element
this
3D
terrible-
is a piece of shit. Oh my god.
It's not bad though. This isn't
Element,
bad.
No, Element 3D is terrible. Like the
No,
software.
as much as you say this
it's
is
shit.
bad for a 17-year-old, it's not bad, Shiny.
Well, I could show you the other one, which was like the idea for original production, but we'll see.
There is a realm of existence so far beyond your own, you cannot even imagine it. The pattern has repeated itself more times than you can fathom. Organic civilizations rise. And
by the way, I want to point out, it's got a distinction, the highest mark.
They are extinguished. The cycle cannot be broken.
My butthole cannot be broken.
Whatever this is, it's incomprehensibly powerful.
Shiney Film Limited.
This weapon could be
Oh,
the
but
answer if we can
I think it's
build
the
it.
Avengers theme, so I need to make sure, not the Avengers theme, the Avengers trailer music, so I need to make sure I keep an eye on, make sure it's not being taken down. Oh, looks so bad!
The force was overwhelming. There's no way we can defeat them conventionally.
We must adapt our strategy accordingly.
Confidence born of ignorance.
The Reapers are more advanced than we
You know,
are.
I
More
had the
powerful.
exact same fucking idea as they had, where they had the Reapers climbing on top of the ships. I had the Reapers climbing on top of the Star Destroyer. But, god, it looks so terrible. It doesn't even have a texture. It's just Lambert.
No, it'll be fine.
Lambert
No.
material.
Than we are, more powerful, more intelligent. They don't fear us, and they'll never take pity on us. Sooner or later, you're both gonna have to stop fighting this war. Or we'll all end up paying for it. It's going to get worse, isn't it? Unless we stop the Reapers, yeah.
Then build alliances. Gather everything and everybody you can. With luck, they'll give you all the support we need.
And if they don't?
We both know this is just the beginning.
I love how this is making you cringe so much.
It makes me cringe as well because I made this.
Star Mass Effect Wars.
Oh, look!
What if
I was 17?
That's not bad, dude. I used to do just cringy shit too. Yeah, that never happened. I did the same thing. I was like, I'm gonna make a Halo movie, and I'm gonna make it all and it never happened. Half-Life.
So this was
fan film never happened.
This was a year later, and there was going to be a step up from this. There was going to be a one last FMP for like my third year. This is the second. It says first year here, but this is the second year because I had to do level 1, then I had to do level 2, and level 2 was 2 years. But yeah, the second year of level 2, I was setting out this whole thing with actors. I was gonna have like create these ship designs. I was gonna have a big sequence, but I never got to actually do it because of COVID. I never got to have my actors, and it was a very ambitious project from the start anyway, so it kind of fell apart and then never even mattered. So anyway, well, let's watch this. This is an original idea. I wasn't allowed to use any existing stuff here. Oh yeah, and this is why I fucking hate Element 3D. So it makes everything look incredibly flat. Look at it. Like, it doesn't have reflections.
It's too bad we can't play my film because it would be like doxing myself. But you can find me on the internet.
Oh, this was one of the guys from the drama department that did the audio. Oh yeah, but the audio doesn't come out well through like audio devices for some bizarre reason. Like it does, like speakers, like on a phone. Oh god, the helmet looks stupid. Look at it.
Yeah, it looks stupid except for the fact that didn't they just use the same exact fucking concept from when they were trying to bring back Clone Wars? Not like they... Who did it first? You or them?
What?
The fucking zooming in on all the helmets. Remember when they brought back Clone
Oh
Wars?
yeah, no, I did this. Funny, there are
first.
concepts which have been used in like the final season of Clone Wars, which actually I had ideas for, but now I'm like too scared to use them because I don't want to seem like I'm ripping it off.
No, you gotta just
like
fucking do
I
it.
had an
Fuck
idea
them.
of
fuck them
like
and
the
their
ship,
fucking system.
like losing like the powers being destroyed and it gets pulled out of hyperspace and then it's crashing into a planet. I was gonna do that, and then they did it in Clone Wars. It's like oh, all right. But there's a few things of that in like the final season of Clone Wars that I had the ideas of, but then they did it first. Oh, especially the street looks terrible. I thought this looks really good in Unreal in Substance Painter, but then you lose the fucking windows at the top. It just looks like they just look white for some bizarre reason. Like you lose all the detail. It doesn't look right. This is on fucking Element 3D. God damn it! This is why I went to I can't remember what the fucking software is called now. It's called Marmoset Toolbag. Marmoset Toolbag was fucking light years better than this. And then I went to Unreal Engine, which is also light years better than Marmoset Toolbag. You know, I can feel less cringe about this because it's not as bad as the last one.
In a world of Swedish camouflage patterns, one man will walk from the shadows behind smoke that's not occluded correctly. Galaxy wars. Soldiers coming never. Because it never happened.
Never gonna happen. Yeah. Okay.
Just like all the projects that I had when I was like 18 or whatever. Never happened. And it's good that it never happened because it would have ended up like that guy's fan film.
So you wanted to show Star Wars Theories fan film?
I wanted to show, that'd be a good thing to do, or we could do the Half-Life 2 City 17 fan film. I thought that's my favorite one, actually.
Why not both?
Yeah, we could do both. And then I also thought we should play the Space Cop trailer. Can you play that one?
Sure.
I don't know if audio will work for me. And just the first part of the Escape from City 17. The other ones are stupid. I think we've already watched it anyway. I know I've showed it to you before. Anakin Skywalker is dead. Fuck that.
I mean, you can feel the fan presence in this, as I was saying before.
It's
just like, what do we have Mace Windu?
For some, the Empire brings fear, but for others, it brings hope. But for Vader, it doesn't say Darth Vader. For Vader, it brings nothing but suffering. This is such a... We got some windows that look like Starship.
You know, the set though looks good.
It's because of the lighting.
Because, like,
it's the lighting that looks good. It's not the set.
I will not be denied.
The lighting and the visual together work very well.
Another part of this is that they've got a bunch of cosplayers, which would do a lot, like Star Wars cosplayers are very good at their stuff.
This one shows how far lighting will take you. Really, seriously.
So it doesn't make sense why like the Wolfpack clones are with bloody Coruscant Guard clones with.
Remember Star Wars? Remember? Hey, what is that? Is that the script of that? Oh no, it's that one scene from the movie that we just saw, and we're doing it again. Remember Rogue One's ending? That's what we're doing.
Why a bunch of officers just with guns?
Remember Rogue One? The ending with Rogue One at the end when Vader and Rogue One at the end? Remember when he did that thing in the hallway in the end? Space Cop.
You will answer for your treachery.
Yeah! Fuck him!
What?
Then it just, like-
Palpatine has some slip-on shoes.
He just pisses himself. Oh shit. It's the Heavy from Team Fortress. What?
Yeah, that looks terrible.
Oh, so now he's doing a Kylo renovation? Kylo renovation? You can't defeat me. I'm the fucking guy. That's so bullshit, dude. Oh, that fire looks terrible. Dumb,
Ah,
dude.
the daddy.
This is so bad.
For your failure to save her.
For your failure to suck my balls.
You give really shitty blowjobs.
What's up with all the cracking? He's just like cracking people's skulls
All
and
the
bones.
bones are breaking. I broke your shin bones.
I broke your pinky.
You have taken everything.
Everything.
You have
Foolish
taken
boy.
your first
You
step.
for the dead wife of an insolent
You foolish boy, you
Your
broke
precious
several of my
and
ribs.
this was your
You
choice.
foolish boy. I've only
Just
become more
as your
powerful.
fate is mine.
I'm enlightening you now! And then he just puts the guy in front of him. That's pretty funny.
Oh, I guess I don't know why he didn't get his lightsaber back earlier.
Oh no, that's Emperor Obama's Jussie Smollett blade.
What the?
This is so fucking stupid, dude. You always were a bitch.
I fixed my bones with the
My
force.
bones are more powerful. I drink milk for the calcium.
Pity. How much grander and more powerful you could have stood.
Oh no, the marks on the wall are
If you
moving.
had
Look at that. I don't want to be too mean about this, but look at the marks on the
how
walls
much
moving.
grander and more powerful you
Look at
could
them.
have stood
They're very poorly
No,
3D tracked.
no! Why did you point that out?
If you had had the temerity
My power
to
is to
embrace
move.
set before you.
Burn holes.
Very quickly. I think that the hole is on a that hole there is on a layer in front of the lightning. I don't know.
What?
Oh. Shit.
What? This is stupid!
I just have to question the point of all this.
The point is, I like the thing.
Hmm.
You know what's better than this is Batman versus Predator.
I guess he dropped that on the ground.
I made this for you. So you'll remember me.
I made this for you.
It will bring you good fortune.
Who the fuck is this?
And that's supposed to be baby Anakin.
This is.
I don't need this to
And that's supposed to be
remember
Padme.
you
Oh my
by. My caring
god.
for you will always
I want to
remain.
blow my brains out watching this. This is terrible.
I mean, like in terms of fan film productions, yeah, Star Wars Theory had a lot of money because he's a very popular YouTuber. For some reason, which is beyond me, is he's a popular YouTuber.
Anakin.
Padme.
I mean, I think the actress who is playing Padme somewhat looks like the role.
This is why fan films should not be allowed.
It's illegal.
I miss my waifu, dude.
Vader is just the biggest simp.
This makes me want to shoot
why
myself
you'll never
after stabbing myself. After stabbing myself.
As long as
Padme
Oh my
suddenly
god, that's so
becomes-
dumb!
And
You will
Palpatine
never
becomes-
suck your titties again!
Why-
what happened?
I know it's a
What-
dream,
where
but
am
it's so bizarre that Padme becomes Palpatine after Palpatine just died like 5 seconds ago.
I couldn't believe it got worse than that.
Always the servant. Always the slave, young Skywalker.
Just two guys in a room, and they're just going at each other.
It's
Brannigan.
her just screaming Anakin just makes me think they're having sex or something.
Electro sex.
Lord Vader, you have an urgent message.
Lord Vader, it's time to pay your child support.
My lord?
I mean, the makeup on here looks it's pretty cool.
Alright, we can fucking stop watching this.
Yeah.
And that was... I don't want to see any more of it. How much money did that really get?
A lot of money was put towards it. I know that much. Indirectly from Star Wars Theory. How much? Check how much did it cost? Star Wars Theory fan film cost. I remember he's said the amount specifically. 100K?
Okay. Yeah, I could see where they spent that, I guess. Yeah. No, kind of.
But okay, I will point out, Locha Films, working out of his basement.
Yeah, but it's CGI.
I know it's CGI.
It's not real,
but
so it doesn't count. There's
just,
no material cost.
just pointing out.
It don't count, Shiny. You can't compare.
Right. Anything else that you wanted to bring
Yeah,
up?
I want to watch the Space Cop trailer. And then
Right.
that'll be our lead out.
Then bring it up. Do it.
But I can't share audio. I don't know how to do that. Do you know how to
You in Chrome.
No. Yes. No.
Are you in Chrome or are you not in Chrome? Give me a
No,
straight
I
answer.
don't use Chrome as my stream web browser. I'm using Brave.
All right, then send me the link.
No, I sent you the link already.
All right. All right, Space Cop trailer.
Play it with the audio too.
You know, I do hope that when I make my film, not I say film, somewhat of a series, I hope it's not this shit. Like as some of the stuff we've watched.
It's shit. It is shit.
Party's over, kids. The clown has arrived.
It's the
I'm
worst
from the
fucking
Enlightened
shit ever.
Age, the space age, from the future of space, outer space.
But see, it's already got me laughing at its actual jokes.
Cop from the future.
Are you trying to tell me that you're a cop? You look more like the mailman or an ice cream truck driver who ate himself out of business. You sure do like eating those things, Space Cop. Do you even know what hot dogs are made of?
Processed horse penis and Chinese people. At least they are in the future. You know what I miss most about the future?
What's that?
Hot dogs.
Jesus Christ.
We have a problem.
You boys interested in a private dance? Let's talk about you. Pay no attention to what I'm doing.
Aha! I thought I smelled something fishy, and it wasn't your lady clam. Space Cop, who the hell was that? Or rather, what the hell was that?
An alien.
Space Cop, are you saying that aliens are real? Why didn't you tell me this?
You never asked.
Jesus Christ, you're some kind of moron!
I have an incoming ship. He's being pursued by the space cops.
Space cops.
It's so bad.
Let's see what some future technology can do. Oh no, porn. Porn ads. I think I downloaded the virus.
Oh my god, the garbage cans! Oh, the fucking eye!
Space Cop, there's more to solving a case than violence and explosions.
I did not think this through.
You've got to use your mind and your wits.
What?
There's a 90% chance that this will work.
I don't like this odds. Deal me in.
This is solitaire.
Let's roll.
So, that piece of shit movie that with original plots and the themes of all the favorite shit that they like is a million times better than a fucking fan film. I'd rather watch original content any day.
Well, I think that's a good place to end it off.
Yeah.
Sorry, I suppose I was also saying, sorry we haven't had a Shiney and Glib show for a while because last Sunday was Independence Day or something like that, and that's when you Americans fought the aliens, right?
Last Sunday was what we know as the memorial for when we lost one of our colonies, but we shall soon
Well, yeah,
regain them.
it's the day those aliens tried to invade Earth, right? I've
A
watched
day
your
that'll live in
historical
infamy.
documentaries.
When our youngest son broke away from the family. Yeah, go on.
Yes.
What were you saying?
So Glib was busy partying his ass off, and then the weekend before I was seeing family members, so I wasn't able to appear. So hopefully we should be able to get the Shiney and Glib show going at a more consistent rate, and hopefully we can keep coming with topics and discussions. I don't even think we scratched the surface of discussing about fan films.
Not even
Like,
at
there
all.
are
But
many other elements we could talk about. I mean, we could even bring Locha Films on at some point to talk about his stuff.
we should do all of that. But most importantly, everybody, if you're on the Discord that Shiney is on, or Shiney's Discord, I mean, stay tuned. We're going to post a link. We want to do the thing where you guys send in a group of your favorite tropes, and then I think I want to do that for the next episode, hopefully in a week, is just spend that thing coming up with mock ideas for stories. Like we just, for the 2.5 hours that we're on, we just work out all from a conceptual perspective to the beat perspective, and I think it'll be really interesting for all of the writers to like just kind of flex and workshop something really quick, and the audience will be able to get in on it. And I love it because I love the idea of being forced to put together genres that I have no idea how they would go together, like Old West stuff and Victorian era British sensibilities. Well, mixed with ballet and kickboxing. How would you make a movie about that? It doesn't even have to be good or a video game or anything, but I would love to hear the panelists explain what they would do. So we're gonna
I'll have to
stay
set it
tuned
up
for that.
with Smud and Litdev, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. And by the way, Zergaloo, Space Cop is not a good movie. It's not that funny. I understand why you didn't laugh, but I certainly had more genuine emotional.
Well, I was laughing at how stupid it was.
Yeah.
Like the car suddenly just flies, and I think it's supposed to be stupid. I still got more enjoyment though out of, was it Galactic Battles, because that was, I describe it as the Room of fan films, I suppose. Because there is a certain magic when something really stupid happens and they're trying to play it serious.
Yeah.
Like, it's not something you can recreate. It's like when Tommy Wiseau tried to play into the fact that he was a joke. It was painfully unfunny because he was purposely trying to be bad.
Yeah.
It didn't have the same magic as when you watch The Room. Because you can't laugh at it in the same way. Andrew Clark, $2. Saving Hope lens flare counting. What was? Oh, did I say we would look at that? Don't even know what Saving Hope is.
Yeah, let's just load that up real quick if you want. I
don't even know what it is.
5 minutes. Just look up Saving Hope trailer and put it on mute.
Saving
Andrew Clark paid
Hope
for it. He deserves
trailer.
it.
Yeah,
for sure.
All right. Saving Hope
Thank you for
trailer.
reminding us.
God, it's fucking boiling today.
It's That's why I'm glad I got an air conditioner.
Well, that's the downside of living in well-insulated houses. In the winter, it's really nice and warm, but then in the summer, it just becomes a greenhouse.
Oof.
Right. Whatever the fuck this is.
You got it?
Already? What? How do we already have a sex scene?
Wow. Okay.
What even?
Oh my god, there's a lens flare. Got him.
Wait, what? So I wasn't paying attention.
Oh my god,
wait, there's
this
one
whole,
there,
the
right?
whole movie's lens flares.
Wait, where's? Oh, there in the
This
bottom
just
of the screen.
Wow.
Yeah, 1, 2,
Lens
3,
flare! Look at this lens flare!
4,
Lens flare!
5.
Oh my god, with the bloom. Lens flare!
6,
It's
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14,
Woo!
15, 16,
Yeah, baby.
17, 18,
Oh my goodness.
19.
And there's a lens flare right there!
Here we go. 20.
yeah.
Is that Michael Shanks? Who played thingy at SG1?
Let me see.
Yeah, it's Michael Shanks. He played Daniel Jackson.
Oh my god, it is.
How much
Bloody
money
hell.
did he need?
I hope he got money.
My god. Hopefully he wasn't dragged in by the mob to do this like Steven Seagal was.
This
Sorry,
is
I've
cheaper.
lost count.
This is-
So I think I was on 17, 18,
You're at-
19,
18,
20.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah.
8. So because the 3 there. So 21.
Oh my god.
22.
This is a filter they put on top of this shit because it's not
23,
anamorphic.
24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29.
What?
30.
Whoa. Whoa.
That's
Whoa.
just I'll count that as 30. 31.
Whoa, look at that one.
32. 33. 34, 35. 6. 37. 38.
Oh my god. There was one
39.
41, 42.
43.
There's always one thing. Worth
How
saving.
many?
Your ass.
I'm just giving up counting at this point. This is
It's over 50, 60. It's over 50 now. Michael Shanks is saving hope.
I'm not even listening to the audio.
Lens flare.
What is this supposed to be?
That's unbelievable.
What?
Supernatural medical drama series set in Toronto.
I'm just bewildered by that.
Yeah, it's a filter because it's not. Those are
Every scene is
anamorphic
normal,
lens
but-
flares, and you need an anamorphic lens, and they're not shooting in an anamorphic aspect ratio, so those don't make any sense. Plus,
Well,
lens
a lot
flares
of-
should only happen when light is directly going into the camera.
It's something you do very sparingly. You always want to sparingly throw things at the
I would
camera
never,
lens. Otherwise, you
ever-
just
never ever make a lens flare after in post effects, and only do a lens flare if there's an effect that would give the audience an impression that light is going right where you want it to next to the camera. So like if a laser hits, that's what J.J. Abrams probably got his lens flare from, because it's like, oh, the laser is going right next to the camera, so let's fucking add a sound effect and a light, you know what I mean? Or Steven Spielberg.
Well, with J.J. Abrams, it was just because of like that was all post, and he thought it made it look futuristic having lens flares.
No, but he
every
that's not
single
just-
fucking light source.
No, not just in Star Trek. He used to do that in every single frame of every movie that he was making. He did that in fucking Super 8 too. You can do it. You can see the lens.
So very
flare
quickly, Andrew
collection.
Clark for $2. Every scene has every episode has multiple flares.
Lens flare is garbage. Garbage. It's an error. Lens flare is a mistake. It's not supposed to be there. It's only cool when it's like something really nice and atmospheric, or when the effect is actually warranted. Otherwise, fuck that. You shouldn't be telling people that they're looking at something through a camera. That's what a lens flare does. It's like if you left in characters with red eyes in the movie, kind of like how the Blade Runner effect was, because you were bouncing light the wrong way, and that's somehow stylish.
Well, it isn't the point that you're. A lot of cinematography goes through the perspective that you are looking through a camera, not that you are looking through someone's eyes. Because if you're that's just something where I hate, like point of view shots. I fucking despise those because they're just really bad. They move around everywhere. It's hard to focus on what the hell's happening. I can't even think of a single instance that a point of view shot is work positively.
Oh, there's a bunch of point of view shots that are just like when you want to show exactly what the person is looking at on a reverse without doing a dirty over. Otherwise you have to have the character in frame. If you want to look specifically at a specific object, then you have to do a point of view shot, like a character looking at something in their hand. You know what I mean? Unless you want to have it over their shoulder, and it's a different frame because you need a different lens for that. If you want to do a
thing is, I'm not even sure that when you're doing like a close up on like someone's hand, I don't think that's really a point of view shot, because if it was a point of view shot, it would be from the exact positioning of the head, and it would be moving about like ever so slightly as it's because the idea is that you're looking through someone's eyes. Like usually, if it's very steady, then it's not really a point of view shot.
I mean, eyes don't have fucking shaky cam. So whenever you have shaky cam, it's making people aware that they're looking through a camera. I feel like that works best.
No, but even though it's not like an eyes will still focus on an object, but as you're moving up and down and left and right, the perspective is still moving constantly, even though it's aiming at the exact same place.
I think Scorsese does it the best. I think it's
you stick a GoPro onto someone's head and it starts moving about rapidly. That's what I'm talking about. That kind of shot I despise.
That's not good though. Nobody thinks that's cinematic though.
But there are TV shows and movies which have used it before, and I can't for the life of me figure out why. Oh,
that looks like
Gotham.
Shit. I agree with
this
that.
is not a POV shot, but it is like a reaction shot, where they got like a GoPro stuck to like their chest and it's aiming at their face. It looks terrible. I hate those. Gotham, why did you think that was a good idea? Okay, to give them credit, less grief on them, they only did it on the first episode. That's only the place you'll find the reaction shot. They realized how terrible of an idea it was.
Yeah, I want to...
Andrew Clark for another $2. Show has ghosts, and I think flares represent a thing. Okay.
Let me see if I can find this.
Right, are we gonna end now?
Yeah, I wanted to just see if I could, because like I know that I know what you mean is not like sometimes you need first person perspective shots, but not ones that look like a video game. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Sometimes you need to show what the character's looking at it from their perspective without them in the frame. You get that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, I don't think I need to show what I was going to show.
Right. So I think that's it. Thank you everyone for watching. Glib, anything to say? Anything to announce before we end off?
What do you call it? Trump won Arizona audit. No, I'm just kidding. Bada bing! And we're out.
Okay.